Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to the channel with me, Free Tips Scout, because we have a huge, and I mean absolutely huge stream where we have to go through the biggest update that we've ever seen on Pooky. It's mammoth, absolutely mammoth. They dropped the announcement yesterday over on all their channels, and there's a lot to go through. I'm sure probably a lot of you guys have already been through a lot of it, which is great. I actually, to be honest with you, I've not had a chance to read any of the blogs yet, but I know that this is a fantastic update. I was actually speaking to Pooky because you guys may or may not know that I'm actually an ambassador for Pooky, so I had a chance to talk to them and hear a little bit about like what they were planning, just get the gist of it before they dropped it on yesterday. So I know the gist of it, but I haven't had a chance to read through and kind of dissect all of the updates in fine detail. And we're going to do that today. I love the fact, by the way, that if you don't have the time or the patience, or if you just are one of those individuals where you're not very good at reading, or you, that sounds kind of bad. Not that you're not very good at reading, but you're just not very good at absorbing information from reading big blogs. Then the great thing is that Pooky have released a very short overview as a tweet, so you can kind of get the overall gist of what this update is all about. And they've also released a video which gives you a nice overview, and it runs through the main parts of this update in a nice bite-sized version where you can really absorb it. So we're gonna be spending pretty much most of today running through the big update on Pooky. You can see it here when you go onto Pooky. It shows you that this is major news. There's an update, huge update, and then there's a roadmap with it, and you can kind of absorb it in loads of different ways. So we're going to go through it very shortly. Before we go through it, I do just want to share with everyone the rewards that I got on Sorare from yesterday. It was very cool rewards opening actually for me, and I'd love to hear also how everybody done on Sorare as well this weekend, what rewards you got. Of course, Pooky too. We talked about Pooky and the rewards we got. So maybe if you've only just opened your Pooky rewards, let me know what you got. But yesterday, let's just recap here. For Game Week 463 in Sorare, I won the rare threshold of about £12, which is $15, and I won a tier 5 rare card from Cap 240 as well. Now, one of the things that soraredata doesn't show at the moment is it doesn't show the reward boxes that you win in the new format. So hopefully in the very near future, the soraredata team will update the platform to also show the boxes that you win. Or maybe even Sorare can just improve the interface and the UI on the game or in the game. And so then maybe in the future, we don't even need to come to soraredata to get an overview of what we've won. We can just go straight into the game and see what we won, which would be great because you can't really do that at the moment, which is a bit bizarre. So I also won 2 reward boxes as well. This was the team that won the tier 5 rare for me and also the threshold. And they done amazing. They hit 364.17 points, as you can see. Completely did not expect them to do that. I mentioned yesterday how I thought that the Rijeka boys could do very well. Didn't really expect Morales to hit a perfect score of 100, even though we know he has it in his locker to do that. And we've just been waiting for him to have one of these games where he explodes to that. So it was great that he done it in this game week. And then, yeah, Advancing unfortunately didn't start, which kind of, was really limited the potential here. It could have been way better if Advanced started, because I think he would have scored or got some kind of decisive. And then I was kind of quite grateful that Eli Room only conceded 2 goals, because I really expected him to concede 3. They actually had a bit of a shocker, Vitesse, in the game yesterday where they conceded, I think it was 5 or 4. I can't remember. I think it was 5. Not great. But that was in this game week. In the last game week, they only conceded 2. And so he didn't get a negative decisive score. And yeah, it just helps us to get this really impressive result, which allowed us to get the tier 5. So the rewards that we won were amazing. A lot of you guys will remember, if you've been on the streams for a while, that right at the start of the season, I had the rare card of Anthony Uja. So I bought Anthony Uja for the start of the new European season, and I bought him in his rare so he could be one of my main forwards as part of my rare rebuild. Because I've done a rare rebuild last summer, which seems like a lifetime ago now. Even though it wasn't really that long ago, but it's just time is just flying by. And I bought him as the main forward, and then I sold him right before he got injured. And then he was out for a couple of months or so. And so I made the right decision to sell him, because then his price, of course, just completely dropped to pretty much nothing. He's not really worth a lot today, Anthony Uja. He's only worth around £5, something like that, £5-6. But I'm not really too bothered about the price of the card. First of all, as I say, we're always quite grateful to win any kind of card from Cap 240. So yeah, don't expect it. And if we do, it's a nice bonus. But I think Anthony Uja is worth a lot more than what he actually is selling for right now. And one of the main reasons why he's not really selling for more is because he's not really starting anymore at the moment. But I think that he will get a few more starts in before the end of the season. And his contract runs out with Eintracht Braunschweig at the end of the summer. I wouldn't be surprised if he moved on. And if he does move on, it'd be lovely if he moves to another Bundesliga 2 club, because I think he could be a real starter there. So I'm very happy that we won Anthony Uja. He returns to the gallery. And I'm also very happy with the fact that he is a quality player that has an L15 of 29, which is really going to come in handy for Cap 220 for the rest of the season. So, yeah, lovely to get that card from Cap 240. Very happy with it. And then look at this, guys, right? I opened my 2 reward boxes. They were, what were they? I think they were like premium. I think they were premium reward boxes. So, you know, with the reward boxes, everyone pretty much has a 95% chance to get a level up, right? And I had 2 boxes, and I managed to get, in the second box, I got a card, which is my first ever card reward from a reward box. I've never won one before. I don't play Sorare Rivals, which is why I haven't really had a reward from a reward box, like a card anyway. Probably if I had been playing Rivals, probably still wouldn't have got one. But I'm very happy with this as well, because I was a little bit disappointed that we missed out on a, let me show you the team. Where was it? This one here. Yeah, so this is where we got the reward box from in Challenger, the Classic Season Limited. I was very happy to win a reward, a card reward, because we were so close to winning one. And for a long time in the game week, it actually looked like we were going to win a reward from here. And then we just kind of fell off the reward positions as the game week went on. And so I managed to get one. And it's Taha Sahin, who I'm kind of familiar with, but also not really. He tends to play as a right back. And his scoring is actually pretty good. I think for a tier 4, tier 5 card, which is kind of what he is, high-end tier 4, low-end tier 5, you look at the scoring, he pretty much scores like a fullback does in Sorare, where he will hit these mental scores from time to time, and then he will just hit like a really bad score as well. So he's quite a nice option for Cap 220. He's also under 23. Let's just have a quick look. He's under 23, I think, until next year. Oh my God, what have I done there? Why do we have capitals on as well? There we go. Now, there you go. So he's 23 and he's under 23 until next year. So we get another year's worth of under 23 utility. I don't actually have an under 23 team. So that under 23 utility is a little bit wasted for me at the moment. But let's say that maybe in the summer I did pick up or win an under 23 goalkeeper, then he's going to be able to slot into an under 23 team. And he's got that level, that high-end level of scoring that will every now and then give us a great chance of winning some of the best prizes in the game. So very happy with that. Really happy with that. And yeah, those were the rewards from last weekend. At the moment, in the current game week, it's pretty good too. In fact, it's very good. So we ran a stack for Alanyaspor, and Alanyaspor, away from home, beat Gaziantep 3-0, which I am delighted with because I did not expect them to do that. That is a very bizarre result. And we were hoping for a while that eventually, if we just keep playing this, then they will produce a result where we'll be able to get a good score from them. The only disappointing thing here, as you can see, is that we, even though we had the stack, we captained the worst player from this stack here. Like, the player that scored the lowest was the player that we captained. If we'd have just captained anyone else, then we would have got an even better score. Now, we're not going to hold on to 9th place here. I don't even think we'll hold on to a top 100 with this score of 352. But we have won the $8. So because this is Cap 240, and when I play a limited team, I always try and target the 340. I just don't like playing for $2. So we put the 340 in. Of course, we've hit 352. So we've already hit the target, which means we get $8, £6.36. And depending on the rest of the game week, because there's 56% of the leaderboard which has happened already, depending on the rest of the games here, we might actually even be able to sneak a tier 5 limited card as well, which would be, again, don't expect to get those cards from the threshold, but if we can get one, we'll definitely take it. So, yeah, the main thing here was getting the threshold. We've got it. If the rest of the game week is just terrible now, then it won't be a problem because this is already the big win for me from the midweek. As it happens, some of our other teams are kind of slightly doing okay. So All-Star Limited, I have to work on my captaincy, don't I? All-Star Limited was okay. You can see that we ran the pure Tigres team here. And first thing to say is that we correctly guessed who the 5 were going to be that would start, which is an achievement in itself with Tigres because they rotate a lot. And we got a great score from Pizarro, good score from Gignac. To be fair, Rodriguez got a pretty good score, given that he didn't get a clean sheet. And then Angelo done poor, and then we captained Samir, and Samir got the error that led to a goal. So again, we captained completely the wrong person, and it's held us back a little bit on our scoring. But this is not really a good score, 312 in All-Star. The good thing, though, is that when we looked at All-Star before the game week started, there was not a lot of entries in All-Star, but there were tons of rewards. So this could actually be, for a midweek, this could actually be a score that results in some kind of a card reward. Probably not, if I'm honest with you, but it could be. We've seen such things before. If it doesn't get a card reward, then that's absolutely fine, because we technically don't deserve one with this really bad scoring and the fact that we captained the wrong player. But yeah, if we could get even a tier 5 here, that would be a huge win for the team. And then we've got our Luton Town boys to play tonight, which, you know, I'm already writing off. I don't expect anything from them against Arsenal. So I think this is going to be a bit of a disaster for them. I think they're going to get hammered. Unfortunately, our all-star rare team hasn't done that good. So this is not going to win anything either. Yeah, we've still got one player left to play. It's advancing, but yeah, even if you hit 100, this is not going to win anything. Too low scoring. Cap 220 is probably not going to win anything either. You can see the low scores we've had from 3 players there. This is pretty much done now. Cap 220, we put Veroni in, and he done poor. I mean, the whole team done poor. They lost 4-0 at home. I said this was a really difficult game for them, didn't I? But I didn't expect it to be that difficult. So yeah, we kind of need the rest to now hit some really big scores. We'll see what happens there. And then Cap 240. Okay, so Eli Room had a shocker. He had a shocker. He conceded 4 goals, against Sparta Rotterdam at home. Now, we knew that there was a chance Eli Room could concede a couple of goals here. I didn't think that he would concede 4. And so that means that we get a really bad score from him. We then captained Carlin Zarkus, who obviously has that massive amount of points being deducted from his overall score. So he gets a minus, was it 12? No, minus 16, right? Because it's 4 points for a goal conceded for a defender. So he has minus 16, doesn't he? Look at that, minus 16 coming off his score there, which is not great to captain a player that has that. We probably would have been better off captaining Pereira. So I'm sure that Pereira is going to do good. And then, yeah, we're then going to be regretting that we captained Arcus. But this isn't dead in the water. If Kim Jin-hyuk can deliver a really good score, he's currently playing at the moment. If Pereira can deliver one, if Lucero can deliver one, we might still be able to hit 270 points and then win $15 for the game week. So that's how it's going at the moment with the teams that we have in play. And that was how it went from yesterday's reward opening of Anthony Ujah and Taha Sahin as the limited. So that's how I've been doing. How's everybody else been doing? And how were your reward opening experiences from yesterday? Did anybody win a card from a reward box yesterday? Free Tip Scout, what happened to Pookie? Sorry if you're repeating yourself too much. I haven't even started talking about Pookie yet. But we are going to be covering that in a minute because it's a huge update. And there's a lot for us to go through. Pirek got Schlager from Leipzig in a box. Wow. I saw a lot of people actually yesterday on Twitter who opened boxes and they got loads of card rewards. I mean, it looks that way. I'm sure there was equally the same amount of people that got nothing from a box as well. But it definitely looked yesterday like just everyone was winning a card from a box, because if you kind of win one, you're going to share it. If you don't win one, then you're probably not going to share it on Twitter that you got a level up. Not to the same level. Hello to Hatta. Hello also to Hajdo Sin. Collins says, I'm second in Cap 240 Limited with my Alanya Sport stack with a score of 390. Love it, man. Who did you captain from your Alanya Sport stack? I'm so jealous as well. I wish that I had that type of score with my Alanya Sport stack. You captained the goalkeeper. Oh my God, that's so brave. That's honestly so brave. I mean, it really paid off for you though, because he was one of the highest scoring players actually, wasn't he, in that game? If not the highest scorer, right? Yeah, he was actually he was the second highest scorer because Adin got 93.3. God, you've done really well there. Yeah, Adin, I actually kind of wanted to have as the limited card, but I think add-in's just a little bit too expensive. Yeah. Like, this guy would be great to have in my Alanya Sport stack, but you guys know that I don't really want to play limited anymore. And if I am going to play limited and I need to get a player, I'm literally, sorry, I'm literally going to pick up a player for like 60p. So yeah, I'm never spending any more on limited, like 14, 15 pounds. I know I've done it for the community team. That's different. But for myself, I'm never going to spend this on a limited player. So as much as I want this guy, his classic card is £8, to be fair, which again is still kind of too expensive for me. But I kind of miss this guy for sure. If I had him in my Alanya Sport stack, then I could be winning more. David said, I got 2 reward boxes, 1 level up and 1 card reward. Congrats to you, man. My mate opened 8 boxes and now has 13 level ups. He's ready then to start leveling up the cards that he can get in the next reward boxes. Vilkeman Carmona Limited from Red Bulls for David. And then Hajdor got Pau Torres and Romeo Lavia from his rewards yesterday. Very good players, especially Pau Torres there. Any other great rewards that you guys got from your, not just the reward boxes, but in general from Pro as well? Without boxes, what did you guys win? I'm hoping we can keep this winning streak alive. You see here that we won 2 cards, obviously, from the game week. And then the game week before, we won another 2 cards, which was lovely. So rares and limiteds. I'm hoping we can have the same this weekend, when we are brave enough to start lineup building in the new format. Because, yeah, it's just, as we talked about, I don't relish the opportunity to dive in and start lineup building anymore. I just find it something that I just don't enjoy it. I really don't. It's getting a bit light now, isn't it? Hold on a second. Let me just... There's me trying. I was trying to adjust things and I was ruining my setup there. The mic came crashing down. Hold on a minute. Got the window right in front of me, which is great because it offers a nice bit of light. But every now and then when the sun gets a little bit too much, it kind of blows out the exposure. Let me just fix it. It's a little bit better. It's much better, actually. Don't you like it because of the layout? I like it because of the layout. I don't really like how unuser-friendly it is, though. Yeah. Like, I think the layout is a good start, but I actually think the layout could be better. And I think they could just make it easier on the eye. They could make things a little bit more obvious. They could bring out some information and present the information a bit easier. So whenever I line up build now, I don't enjoy it. I'm not having fun doing it in this kind of, this layout. Even though I think the layout looks better than what we had before, I just think it's just too much effort than what it needs to be. And it takes almost too much time to line up build. There's a lot more to consider, which is cool, but because there's a lot more to consider, I don't think that the team have made it easier for Sorare managers to consider those things quicker and better. So, and I think a lot of other managers are feeling the same, right? So I don't think I'm the only one thinking that this is good, this looks great, but I think they just need to tidy up and present things a bit better. Especially around being able to see like your whole teams in one screen and being able to see the number of entries in the leaderboard, the number of rewards in there. I think that's probably the main thing. Did you see that Laird hinted they'd asked Sorare about an export? Yeah, I did actually. Funny enough, you say that. I don't tend to have much time to watch the Sorare Data show. But funny enough, last night I watched about 20, 30 minutes of it, and I did actually listen to Laird when he said that. He got asked it, and he said exactly that, didn't he? If Sorare wanted it to happen, we'd have had it already. So they're choosing not to do it, basically. They could have done it. They're choosing not to do it. And I think that they've almost chosen to not do a lot of things, actually, in the game. You know, like, for example, we've talked so much about how it would be really useful to have some kind of an in-game chat functionality when you're getting involved in a trade. We should have had that by now. And I think technically if Sorare wanted us to have that, we would have had that too. So there's probably a load of things that the team haven't put into the game and probably should have put into the game and could put in the game, but they haven't. I want throw hat in the ring, but I don't know the matches. Yeah, guys, if you want to take part in throw your hat in the ring, then do it. Okay, redeem the coupon, and we can add your predictions in, and then add you to the list so you have a chance to win limited cards. But and I'm going to leave the coupon open all stream, right? So just redeem it whenever you have enough coupons, and then once you do it, I'll ask you for what game in the USA League you guys want to give me a score prediction on. I'll then put that score prediction in, and then I'll add you to the list. And of course, if you then get that prediction 100% correct, you're going to win a limited card. Do we have, just talking about that, do we have Manjit here in the chat? Because Manjit was the winner from last week, and he still hasn't got his card yet. I did want to give it to him yesterday, but he disappeared off the stream. So is Manjit in here at all? If he's not, and he jumps into the chat, guys, then just tell Manjit, and make sure you tell me in the chat as well that Manjit is here. And then what we can do is we can just take a bit of a breather, and then I can dish out the card to Manjit live on the stream, because I really want to do that. Like, I don't want stuff like that to be overdue. You know, I want to get that out to him. All right. So let's talk about the main thing that we're going to cover here today, which is Pooky. Okay, Pooky. So if you are not already playing Pooky, then I promise you, you should be playing it. And you definitely should be playing it to get in on the game before these updates happen. So get involved, get started, so that when the update lands, you're already in a really good position to basically hit the ground running, rather than starting when the update kicks in. So if you're not playing, I'm going to give you a link. And that link is a special link, because that link will give you, it's actually an ambassador link. That link will give you a discount off your first purchase in the game, and you'll be able to get a free rookie Pokeball. You'll be able to get a ton of POC tokens, which is in-game currency you're going to need to play the game and progress in the game as well. So let's quickly go to their Twitter page here, right, to give you guys the overview, and then we're going to start diving into it. Okay, so I retweeted this yesterday. There's Scuds as well. Love it. There's me. So this was the retweet I done on the big news that they've got. Let's bring it up. So if you've not read this, we'll just quickly go through it, and this will give you a nice overview of the changes which are coming to Pooky. Big news! The time has come. Pooky is undergoing an exciting evolution. And this word is actually perfect, because it's not just an update. It is an update, but it is more of a complete evolution of the game. It's a complete overhaul. So, you know, the big update that we had on Sorare, that with the new format, this update that Pookie's doing is even bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. It's way more encompassing. There's a lot more depth to the game that's going to be there from August. Actually before, because there's a transition period as well. It's just it's huge. There's so much to go through. So this evolution is going to transform the way you experience football predictions. This change is coming about by player feedback, and also they've been looking at the data as well. They've been analyzing where the game's been going and maybe some of the shortcomings of the game, and they've kind of come to the conclusion, which is why they're now doing it, that the game needs a big refresh and needs to go in a different direction, and it's quite exciting. So this is the overview of what is coming to Pookie. So this is the big one. Lifetime league passes. Okay, we are going to talk about this quite a lot today. Pookie balls at the moment are the things that you collect, and they are the things in the game that you use to make predictions. Okay, they are also the things that give you energy. So they help to increase your energy total, and with that energy total, that allows you then to predict in X amount of games, right? Pookie balls are going, and they're almost being transformed into what's called a league pass, okay? And with the league passes, there's not going to be really any energy limits at all. So once you've got a league pass, you can then just predict to your heart's content. So it's going to be very, very cool. Advanced boosting mechanics. So at the moment, the boosting is very limited in Sorare. Not Sorare. We're not talking about boosting in Sorare. The boosting in Pookie is very limited to when you level up your Pokeball, you can apply boosts to the percentages that you get on certain attributes, right? So you can boost the percentage you get on home wins, you can boost it on draws, you can boost it on over 2.5, right? And then you also get an additional way to boost through stickers. So when you get a sticker, it can add additional points boost depending on how many stickers you've got already on the Pokeball and all that kind of thing, right? This is going to be a lot more in-depth and a lot more strategic now, where the boosts are going to happen at basically 3 levels: account level, league level, and match level. So you could actually have like your own account that you are boosting almost like you would be doing with a character in an RPG. So you would be that character and you're going to be leveling up yourself basically. So your account is going to have some oomph to it now, and that oomph is going to have some say in how you do in Pookie, along with being able to boost league specific and also match level. The rewards are getting better as well. So there's going to be more rewards with a weekly, monthly, and a rarity-based leaderboard. So at the moment, we have a base leaderboard and a boosted leaderboard. And then we have a leaderboard for each of the different leagues, right, that you can predict in. And the leaderboard basically goes from game week to game week. And what is going to happen in the new updated game is there'll be weekly, monthly, and rarity-based leaderboards. So it's just basically more chances for you to win more cash in different ways, which is amazing. Now, this is the big reveal from the update, is that to dive deeper, there's going to be a native token called TPK. And this is a token that you're going to be able to win in the new system, the new game. And it's a token that you'll be able to trade as well on different exchanges, different crypto exchanges. So they've mentioned this in a very, I'd say, early stage. If you look at the white paper, they mentioned how their aim was to kind of implement a token into the game. And we're now getting very close to this token being launched and being a big part of the ecosystem, which that is really exciting. There's a blog, which we're going to open up, because there are actually several different blog pieces to read. So there's actually 4. These 3 here and then this one here. So we do have a lot to go through, and it's a lot to take on board. So don't worry if you don't get all of this at once, okay? What I'm going to do, what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to do like a YouTube video as well, where I kind of just try and break down all 4 of the blogs into a very short, concise kind of overview. And then I just give my thoughts on what's, on my thoughts and my take on the big things from the update. So as I say, I'm working on that at the moment, and you should expect that YouTube video this week at some point. I wonder if the update will make me sell up Sorare and invest in Pooky, says Arthur. Hello to Mark Gork as well. Yeah, blogs. What's actually kind of funny, Scuds, is that when I talked to Pooky before, like basically a few days ago, right? I talked to Pooky. In fact, it was the back end of last week, right? And when I talked to them about this, they were really excited, and I was really excited, and it sounded amazing. And I kind of said to them, look, when they said to me, we're going to be launching the update across 4 blogs. You guys know what I'm like, right? You guys know the pain that we had to go through when Sorare released their update purely in a blog form, and the blogs were like a freaking Jane Eyre novel. They were massive. They were absolutely massive. They took forever to read, and there was just so much information. It was like your brain was fried. And when I heard that Pooky wanted to do 4 blogs, I said that's okay, but it can't just be 4 blogs. You must also do some kind of a video and some kind of a summary tweet or something, just so that people don't have to, read volumes and volumes to understand what's going on. So I'm pretty grateful that they took that feedback on board, and they ended up doing a video. If you guys don't want to read blogs, then there is a really cool video. All you need to do is go on to Pooky, or even just go back onto here, their main page where they have the pin tweet, and this is the YouTube video. So
hey there,
here you go. This is the YouTube video where Nick goes through. Nick's a really cool guy. He's one of the content leads there at Pooky. So yeah, if you don't want to read through all the blogs which we're about to go through, you can just watch this video and you'll be able to get a really good idea of the changes which are happening. The video is not long. It's only 12 minutes, and they do a very good job of explaining the the big takeaways. Yeah, the illiterate play Pooky. Yeah. You guys are never going to let me live that down, are you? The illiterate. Hello to Sippity. Wow. Sippity. Great to see you, man. It's it's great to see you for 2 reasons, because we're doing a Wednesday stream. Yeah, it feels like every time Sippity wants to jump on the streams, which is usually Wednesday for him, we've had a few instances where we've just not been live on a Wednesday. So probably quite nice for him to finally join one, because we are live. Yeah, you haven't really missed too much at the moment. We're just starting to dive into it. We actually haven't even started to go through the blogs yet on Pooky, which we're about to do right now. So yeah, glad you jumped in, man. How's everything going? And have you had a chance to read the updates or absorb the updates from Pooky yet? All right, should we dive into it? Let's do it. The roadmap of Pooky's gameplay evolution. Let's start here, and then we're going to work our way back, and then we're eventually going to talk about the token. Okay. First of all, I've got to say a huge shout out to Pooky. Now, I know they've done 4 blogs here, but the blogs are well written, and the blogs are well structured as well. They're kind of broken down into nice short paragraphs so you don't ever feel like you're being overwhelmed with information. I think that was the big problem with the Sorare update in the blogs, is that it wasn't only a blog, it was also that in every blog, every section was like a massive, massive paragraph to go through. It just was really overwhelming. So big shout out. I love the way that Pooky communicate their updates. They're very transparent. They're very detailed in the information they give you. And they try to do it like that so that everybody knows where they stand and what is going on. So there's almost like no, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's no opportunity for people to not know what's going on with the game, right? Promotion, relegation. There's none of that. Right. Roadmap of Pooky's gameplay evolution. This is I don't think we really need to read this here, but this is just how they've kind of come to this point. Talking about the world of Pooky. They've had close to 3 million predictions made, which is pretty impressive for the game because it's still very much in its infancy. And then it's just talking here about these updates are going to unfold gradually. So you don't have to worry that these updates are happening now. These updates are going to be dripping into the game progressively, okay? And you've got enough time to adapt to the changes and get ready for the changes, okay? This is the roadmap for the gameplay evolution. Now, at the moment, Pooky are working very, very hard on a mobile app. This is something which most gaming companies, most games actually know that they need to have. Most companies actually today in 2024 know they need to have some kind of an app to run along their service or promote their products, right? And so the mobile app is what they're working on very hard at the moment, and we should expect the mobile app in May. It says June, but my understanding is that they're going to try and they're really focusing on getting it out in May. And then the marketplace discount. So we're going to come to that shortly, how there's going to be some discounts on the Pokeballs that you can buy, okay? In July, August, there's going to be a transition to the new system, okay? So very similar, actually, time frame to what we see with Sorare. And then in October, November, there's going to be the token, which is going to be listed on the exchanges. So they're launching the token then, and that will be really exciting because when we talk about the token and we look into it, the token looks like it's going to hopefully hold a lot of value and be a really great way to win rewards in Pooky. Right, so here we go. May 24, the mobile app release. So this is going to be the app. I think they showed, here, kind of, it says that these, let's just bring it up. It says that these visuals are still a work in progress. They're not representative of the final product. I actually think this looks pretty good. So if this was the final product, I'd probably be quite happy with this visually. I think it looks pretty slick. But this just gives you an idea of what it could look like in the mobile app, certain screens, right? So they're working on the mobile app, and what they say here is that in addition to the current Pro Leagues, players will be able to start playing and testing out the new version of Pooky, okay? So you're going to get this updated gameplay. The current Pro League will remain active until mid-August, in which we will transition players across, and there's another dedicated blog for that. We're going to come to that later, okay? After the Euros from Game Week 87, the Pro League rewards will step into a transition period. So this is kind of talking about that mid-August transition that will start to happen from right after the Euros, actually, and will last for 5 weeks. And that will help players get ready for the move to the mobile app and transition their account. And then there's a token transition in Game Week 87, where Matic rewards will be replaced by POC. Now, when I heard that, I was like, oh, wow, like, what do you mean? Because the POC doesn't have any in-game, well, it doesn't have any value outside of Pookie, whereas the Matic obviously is a crypto that has value. It's actually cash that you're winning. So I was like, oh, wow, what do you mean by that? The reason for that is the POC rewards that you get are actually going to help you a lot better to get your Pokeballs and all your assets to a level so that when you can basically cash them in for the new league passes, you're then going to be able to have your assets in the game which are really worth something. So it actually makes sense to help you get ready for the new system. Obviously, if they had said we're going to give you, we're going to be giving you POC instead of Matic, but there's no update, then of course it wouldn't work, right? But for the new system, it's going to work quite well because you're going to need a lot more POC so that you can get your Pokeballs up to the levels they need to be. So basically just trying to max them out and ascend them. And the reason why that's important, you'll find out a little bit later, because having fully maxed out Pokeballs will give you a better valuation on the Pokeballs that you then effectively sell back to Pookie in exchange for the league passes that you can then buy. August 24. Before we go on, how's this sounding for everyone at the moment? Because I'm always very conscious when we read through blogs. I don't want people to be switching off. I don't want it to be like that at all. Because I know that you guys can kind of read, even though I said illiterate, you guys can read this all yourself. I don't want it to be a case where I'm just reading off this and it's not landing with people or you're not really understanding it. So how's everyone doing so far? Are you still with me? Good. Okay, cool. Right. August. So remember, this is the time frame here. July, August. They have kind of summarized what is the plan to happen in August. So in August, there will be an updated Pro League. The Pro League with the token. The updated Pro League will officially start on the mobile app, along with the introduction of TPK, which is their token. This is quite important. So this is really important, actually. So you know how Sorare, they took a snapshot of your gallery before they decided what divisions you are then placed in, right, for the start of the new format. What Pookie are going to do is they're going to do something a little bit similar, where in August, they're going to take a snapshot of all of your Pookie assets in the game, right, a few days before the launch, and then that's going to give them their valuation of how much they need to give you, right, in exchange for taking those assets off you, right? So that's really important. So in August, if you want to try and get the most amount of value back from your assets that you own, your Pokeballs and your stickers, then you need to make sure that you've kind of done all your purchases and you have tried to level up to the max by August, because then when they take that snapshot, and I'm sure we'll get the date specifically sooner, but when they take that snapshot, that is going to be how much they value your total account. And then it talks here about the asset valuation. So players will see their asset portfolio valued at the end of the transition period. That value will be credited to the updated Pro League marketplace. And then at the end of the transition period will come to an end as we take the snapshot. So prepare for an exciting shift in gameplay and rewards. Also talks here about the token. So in Q4, as you can see here, there's a link for the white paper. So if we open this up, the white paper actually talks in here about, it's very detailed this here. It talks about their aim to have, look, a token okay? And you can see here, actually, look, their phase 1 has already happened. And then phase 2 is happening in 2024, which is, you know, why we're talking about this here, where there's going to be a capped supply tradable token. So you can also get more information about that. It's already in the white paper. And we're going to talk about it a little bit more, but essentially it's going to become the main way to earn rewards, right, in Pooky. So rather than winning Matic, it's going to be this in-game token, and you can trade it on exchanges. You can also exchange it for cash and then cash that out of the game. Right. This is a very good thing as well. We have to talk about this here. Discount. So Pooky are going to be removing Pokeballs. Why would you buy more Pokeballs then if Pooky are going to remove them? Well, there's still an incentive to buy them because you're going to be getting a very good valuation on them, especially if you can max them out to their maximum level, okay? So in order to incentivize you guys to still get Pokeballs, to still collect them, so that then when you trade them in for the league passes, which are going to be the main way that you play Pooky with, well, not at the moment, sorry. There is going to be a 20% discount on Pokeballs and stickers on the marketplace, okay? 20% discount, which is, I think, pretty good. Now, the discount itself, when is the discount coming into effect? It's not now, is it? It is now. Well, there you go. So it's now. So at the moment, you can get this 20% discount off all of the assets in the game, which I think is amazing. And you'll be able to see why that's important. So basically, you get a discount off these Pokeballs, and then when your account gets valued, you can get basically more than what you paid for them. On the blog, it does say May, right? Well, I thought it did say that. I thought it said that there was going to be, where was it? Yeah, here, look, marketplace discounts, yeah. So it kind of says May, but actually it's in place already. So that's an interesting one. I wonder if there's going to be more marketplace discounts in May. Because is it just the Pokeballs, or is it the stickers as well? It's the stickers as well. Yeah. So I think that's why I was a little bit kind of confused there, thinking, well, when is it? Because it did mention May, but it's not May, it's now. So I don't know why they put that there, actually, when it's happening now. And it's good that it's happening now. So at the moment, you can get a 20% discount on Pokeballs and stickers in the marketplace on Pooky. And then it says here, this allows players to increase their collection and get a stronger starting point once the updated Pro League is released later this year. As players will get a 1-1 value of assets, so that 20% discount will be returned in the new game back at 100% plus progression. So basically, you get a Pokeball or sticker at 20% discount, right? But you're not going to lose money. If anything, you're going to make a little bit of money because you get kind of the 20% discount back. Plus, the assets are valued at 1-1. So it's pretty good. It makes me want to buy a few more Pokeballs, actually. I'm not going to lie. Just so that you can then make a little bit of money come the actual transition. All right. So it says this is just one article in a series of updates. There's more. Let's go to the next one. Is this the next one I want to cover? It is, actually, yeah. Cool. All right. So how does this all work then? This is quite a big blog here. Look at the size of this blog. It's quite big. There's a lot to go through. As I mentioned, guys, if you are one of those individuals where reading all this information is just not the way that you learn or you can absorb information, then they have also been linking in right at the bottom this really cool video that will summarize everything. So this might be a better way for you to absorb the information, but we're going to try and run through as much as we can on the blogs here to understand it. So, evolution of a gameplay. Okay. So again, fueled by the data and user feedback, Pooky is going through a big change here. Huge change, actually. Right. Pooky's gameplay is evolving, driven by a deep understanding of user preferences. Its evolution means a significant upgrade in the gameplay mechanics, making Pooky more engaging, strategic, and rewarding than ever. So one of the big complaints that I've had, and I know that some of you other guys have had too, is that Pooky is good and it's quite fun to play, but there's not enough to do in Pooky, and there's not enough layers to it. And so we've often found that you can play Pooky in 2 minutes, right? And then you're done for the week. And you don't really have to think about playing Pooky sometimes. You can just kind of do the same old things and not really play Pooky at a very deep strategic level, which it should be like that, because if it is like that, then it's more immersive and it means that you can get more involved in it and probably then have a lot more fun and a lot more satisfaction when the game week really works for you, right? Whereas at the moment, it's kind of like you can just do whatever with your predictions, and you can still basically come away with a huge amount. And it does kind of feel like you're cheating the game a little bit. I've mentioned it before, where we almost don't deserve to win 20, 30 pounds, but we've won 20, 30 pounds from basically just doing 4-3 or something for every game. That's not really going to be the case anymore in this new update, which is, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I've been enjoying earning a load of money from stupid scores and silly predictions, right? And it's been fun to do, but the game shouldn't really be like that. The game should be rewarding more skill, more strategy, rather than just absolutely ridiculous plays that seem to reward more than trying to play the game properly. So, core gameplay remains focused on predicting scores, boosting points, and dominating leaderboards. We're introducing several game-changing features. Part 1. Play without limits here. So, lifetime league passes. Now, remember that Pokeballs, once you have a Pokeball, that gives you a lifetime access anyway to the competitions, right? But the Pokeballs are going to be replaced by league passes, and this is what this is going to talk about right now. So, say goodbye to playing within the bounds of energy. One of the big pieces of feedback that they got from users is that when you start Pooky today, everybody gets 100 energy, right? You get 100 energy. It costs 10 energy to predict a game in Pooky. So initially, you can predict 10 games, which usually, in most cases, will allow you to predict 1 full league, okay? That means that if you want to predict 2 full leagues, you're going to need to have 200 energy. But to go from 100 to 200 energy is almost too big a gap. It's too big a gap to do. And most people, most users have kind of got a little bit frustrated that they've not been able to predict more than 1 league in a game week easily or quick enough. And as someone myself that has been playing Pooky for about 9 months now, right? I've probably put into the game about £500, maybe £600, right? And I've only got 249 energy. So even after playing for 9 months and spending about 500, 600 pounds, it's not like I'm rolling in energy. I can basically just about do 2 leagues, right, fully, and then I've got about 50 energy left over to maybe predict half of another league. But of course, in the current game, you use some energy to update your predictions too. So by the time I've updated some of my predictions, I've probably only got about 20 energy left over to pay forward into the next week, which means that I'm basically spending an extra 20 energy to make 2 extra predictions in the upcoming game week. What I'm basically saying here is that for most people, playing for 9 months and maybe spending 500, 600 pounds just so that you can predict in a second league is just not really that viable. Most people are going to want to come in and maybe predict one league, but then they want to predict a second league or a third league pretty quickly. And the entry level to do so and the time that it takes to do that in the current game is restricting restricting predictors, and it's holding the game back a little bit from enticing people to play and stay and spend in the game. So they're changing that. There's going to be unlimited access with the introduction of league passes. So these passes allow you to unlock your favorite leagues for life, offering a new level of freedom and fun. So rather than having a Pokeball that you can use everywhere, even if you have like the Premier League on it, you basically buy specific passes that allow you to predict in a certain league. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, you know, like my Pokeball at the moment I can use anywhere. So why would I cash that out and then get a league pass that only allows me to predict in one league? Well, you're going to actually see that the league passes are much more than that, and they offer much more in-game utility as well. Plus, they're much cheaper, so they kind of allow you to predict more leagues for like much more reasonable value. It's very quiet in the chat, so how's everyone? I'm going to keep asking this. Is your head swimming at the moment? This is a lot to go through. It's a very significant change here. Very big change. It says here as well, look, just to reiterate, as this was a big restraint for so many, no more energy limits holding you back. Okay? No more energy. So basically the energy is kind of going. You don't have to worry about the energy anymore. You just, once you have a league pass, that just allows you to predict all the games in that league. Okay, so if you had an Argentinian pass, you would be able to predict all 14 games in that game week, for example. If you had a Premier League one, you could predict the 10 games each week in that, and it doesn't matter about energy at all. It's just about the league pass. So forget about energy in the new format. This is basically going to go, okay? It's going to be removed, and instead, you're just going to be having league passes, and that is going to be your way to predict the games that you want to, and as many games as you need to in that specific league. Okay. Right, 1.2, predict your way. The number of leagues you can predict now hinges on the number of league passes you decide to unlock. So again, the current game is the number of leagues that you can predict in is determined by how much energy you've got. If you want to predict in 3 or 4 different leagues, right, you're going to need to have about 300, 400 energy to do it, right? That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a big expense to get that amount of energy. It's going to take a lot of time to get that amount of energy. In the new format, all you'll need to do if you want to predict in 3 or 4 different leagues is just have 3 or 4 different league passes. So it simplifies the gameplay, and I actually think it solves the problem that we've seen in the game around energy kind of holding users back or restricting their strategy and how they want to play the game. Instead now, once you have a league pass, you can play in that league as many games as you want. And then if you want to play in a different league, you just simply pick up the next league pass that you want. So let's say that I want to play in English League and Japanese League. All I need to do is have the English League pass and the Japanese League pass. That's it. That's it. And for the cost of having those two passes, it's going to be significantly cheaper and way easier to then do, rather than having to try and collect tons and tons of Pokeballs to earn enough energy to actually be able to do it. And of course, with that, there's then not only the time that it takes, but also the expense of having to collect those Pokeballs, because the higher level Pokeballs at the moment give you the bigger energy. And so it's a significant improvement to how they're doing it. How many league passes do you get with one rare ball? Yeah, we'll be going through that soon, shortly, Arthur. There's a simulator as well. There's a simulator which allows you to see valuations, and then from there you can then determine how much of the league passes you'll be able to buy. Yeah. All right. It's a good question though, by the way, Arthur. I'm not knocking the question at all. It's a good question. We just haven't got to it yet. So, it doesn't stop there. Your league pass isn't just a ticket to the game. So this is what I love about this new format here. You're not just buying a league pass and then that's just, that just allows you to play the league. The league pass is actually going to be much more than that. It has a lot more utility to playing Pookie. It says here it's a customizable NFT digital collectible that you tailor to fit your unique gaming strategy. Through customization and add-ons, you'll be able to forge a path unique to you. So I could own a Premier League pass, right? An English League pass, as it's going to be called. You could own an English League pass too, but our passes will be very different, right? Our passes could be completely different because you're able to customize them. You'll be able to use them in different ways and almost upgrade them in different ways. So this is here, initially purchasable in 5 distinct rarities. So they're adding a rarity in here. At the moment, we've already got common, rare, epic, and legendary. We've also got mythic as well in the game, but you can't buy a mythic pass. It says here, look, a little bit lower down, that you will be able to ascend from legendary to mythic, and then from mythic to ultimate. So that is the higher level. I don't know what happens when you ascend ultimates. What's above ultimate? I don't know. I don't know whether there's a level above that or not, and whether you're allowed to do that. But initially when they launch this, there will be 5 rarities with 5 distinct pricing points on it. So if you don't want to spend a lot on a pass, you don't have to, right? And it's still going to allow you to predict in all of those, in all the games in that league. And I think that's really cool. So if you buy a common, you can still predict every game in a Premier League with a common as you can with a legendary. It says here, where is it? Let's read this. Actually, I think this is quite cool to drum the point home. Imagine you're holding an English Premier League pass, but also want to get in on some French League One action. With just 2 league passes, both leagues become your playground. They become fully unlocked and ready for your predictions. So again, if you wanted to do that in the current game, it's going to require a lot more purchases of Pokeballs to be able to get the energy that you need to predict in the second league. It's going to require a lot more time potentially to get to that point too. This is just simplifying it. So now all you need to do is just have 2 league passes and then that's it. You have unlimited lifetime access to predicting those leagues. You have no restrictions. on how many games you can predict. You can predict every single game in that league as long as you own the league pass. Right. Surely you can't ascend ultimate. Well, if you think about the system, you could technically, that system is infinite, right? Potentially, unless they say that there is a limit on it. So yeah, that ascension could go on forever and ever and ever, right? Because you're just basically upgrading, you're combining two low ones to create a higher one. So you can just keep doing that. But maybe they're going to have like a ceiling on it where once you get to ultimate, even if you max out the ultimates, it's not even going to give you the option to ascend to ultimates. Because as I say, it could just get a little bit silly where because there's no end to it, you'd be like, well, it's just ridiculous, right? There almost needs to be some kind of an end game. So I'd expect the ultimates to be the ones that you can't ascend any further. Pretty cool though, because I didn't actually know the ultimate was the rarity or the level past mythic. I always wondered, but I didn't know it was actually that. So pretty cool. Did I make a good decision when I recently bought a rare ball? Manjit's here. Manjit's here. Okay, you did make a good decision, yeah. And we're going to be talking soon about what you can get for trading in your rare ball, because you're basically going to be selling it back to Pooky in this new update, and they're going to be giving you the value that you paid for it, plus a little bit more on top of that, okay? And we're going to cover that later. There's actually a simulator as well, which I'm going to show everybody, where you can put in, it's like an Excel spreadsheet, and you can put in like different rarities of Pokeballs and different max levels and different rarities and levels of stickers as well. And then you'll be able to see what you'll be able to get back from Pooky in terms of value in the new format. I think it's really cool. Right. Before we go on, I mentioned earlier that when Manjit comes in, we're going to do the giveaway. So, Manjit, where you at, man? Right. The reason we're doing a giveaway here, it's not really a giveaway actually, is it? It's more like he's won a card. Is he done the throw your hat in the ring? And he correctly predicted, I think it was 1-1, wasn't it, Manjit? For Cincinnati versus Charlotte. And so he got it spot on. So now he gets to pick a card. What card would you like? These are the cards that we have in the list here. So this is the selection you get to pick from. Okay. I can, yeah, bring it up on your screen. We want to do it now though, man, because I want to get this done so that then we can just focus on the new, like the new game week. I don't like to have stuff like hanging on, or not hanging on, but you know, like overdue. So yeah, take a little bit of time just to kind of review what you can win, and then let me know now so we can then send it to you. If you need to go to my gallery as well, you can. And then you should be able to see the giveaways as well, right? Yeah, cool. 1.2, just whilst Manjit is looking through that, we might as well go through this part here. Oh, he's already got an answer. I would like to get Adrissi. Okay, cool. Good man. So let's send him the Adrissi card. And again, thank you so much for the prediction, man. If any of you guys want to predict a score for me this week in Pooky, then all you need to do, there's a little yellow coupon icon. Just click on it. It's right next to the chat. And then, oh, hold on here. And then just redeem the throw your hat in the ring. This is you, isn't it, Manjit? Let's do it. Good man. So congratulations, because Manjit was the first viewer, the first guy from the community that got the exact score in this throw your hat in the ring competition. Okay. Coming over to you now, man. There you go. Enjoy the card and feel free to redeem the coupon again. Have another go if you want, if you've got the coupons, because you might be able to win another limited card. And guys, everyone can take part in it. And I'll be adding in more new cards into this one over the coming days as well. So every week there's going to be more new cards in here, different cards in there. So you'll be able to pick and choose which cards you want to win when you win them. Right. Let's take, before we read on, let's take a very quick 5-minute break here. We've been covering a lot already. I'm very conscious when we do these kind of streams, right, where we're just sort of rolling through just massive amounts of information. I'm always very conscious that it can be a little bit too much, right? So we're going to take a very quick 5-minute break here. When we come back, we're going to delve a bit deeper into part 2 of the update here around more ways to boost your score in the new format on Pooky. So don't go anywhere, stay connected. Feel free, though, to use this time just to go and stretch your legs. And I'll see you in 5 minutes' time. And we're back. Just like that. Look at that for timing. Just as I came back into the room, I saw the timer got down to 0. And I was like, oh, I've timed it perfectly. Love it. How's everyone doing? There's not really an easy way, as I said, to digest the full update. Of course, you can watch the YouTube video as well, and I definitely recommend everyone does that. But that only gives you like an overview. If you want the nitty gritty, this is the way to do it. And I love my nitty gritty, so that's why we're gonna plow through. Okay, just gone over to manage it there. Are you guys still with me? I know what it's like, honestly. I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't want this stream to be where it's just me talking to you for 5 hours, because I'm not going to do that. I'll tell you that now. I'm not going to do it. And I don't think it's a good, enjoyable experience for anyone, right? So we'll try and go through this blog. We'll try and break it up a little bit, where you guys can get involved a bit as well. We can talk about things. I probably want to talk a little bit, actually, just before we move it on. What is everyone's opinions? This is quite a big change. What is everyone's opinions at the moment about the fact that the Pokeballs are being replaced by league passes? So it's not like you're losing them. What you've got and what you own will basically transform, or, you know, can be converted into a league pass. But it's quite a big change, because Pookie has, if you think about it, you know, even the word Pookie is in the Pokeball. So it's been at the core of what the game's been about, where you collect these Pokeballs, and, you know, that's the asset that you own, and it's all around that. It's not going to be that anymore. It's going to be these league passes. So how does everyone feel about it? I'm quite happy about it, to be honest with you. The only thing that this is the thing, right? The only thing that I don't like about the league pass, and I even told Pookie this, right, is at the moment, when you have a Pokeball, you can play that Pokeball wherever you want, right? So 1 week I could predict in the Premier League, and then the next week I could predict in the Japanese League with that same Pokeball. So I have that kind of flexibility where I can adapt my strategy, and I can just be agile from game week to game week if I want to, right? Whereas with the league pass, of course, that's taking that away. And it's then saying that if you want to predict in multiple leagues, then you have to have multiple league passes. So one Pokeball technically then doesn't have a ticket to, or an entry or access to every league, right? You have to have a specific league pass now. So that was the only thing that I didn't really like about the change, is because for me personally, I every now and then will just want to try a different league, but like I have the Pokeball that allows me to do that. But in the new format, if you want to try a different league, then you will need to go and get the league pass. However, the benefit of being able to do that is that the cost is going to be a lot cheaper to do that, which allows more people to play more leagues much quicker, much easier, much cheaper than being able to play several different leagues at once, just because you don't have enough energy and enough Pokeballs. So I think the positives outweigh that negative, that con. Not con, but you know what I mean, like the pros and the cons. That was the only thing that I think I'm going to miss from the Pokeballs there. Change is hard, but the terminology, the core aspects, feel a little bit more marketable, mass market. I agree. I like the idea in that you won't be restricted by energy, and you can predict all of the matches in your chosen leagues. Although I worry that the bigger players might be able to take advantage. I think if you have a few rare balls, then you should get enough credit to unlock multiple league passes due to the value conversion. Yeah, you should do. Yeah. I got one common ball, and 1 rare ball, so I don't know how good the update is for me. I think it's very good for Mark Gork because he has a lot of balls. Yeah, it's not really around that. So I wonder if I can just skip to it, because I know that we're talking about that at the moment. Let me try and skip to it. We are going to talk about this a lot more detail. Here, look. This account snapshot. And how do they value assets and progression, right? So if we bring this up really quickly, I wanted to cover this later, and we will cover it later. But because I'm seeing in the chat, how does it work for me? And someone like Mark Gork, who has loads of Pokeballs, is going to be better off. That's not the case at all. Everyone is going to be in a good position based on the assets that they've got. And so it gives you here an example of what you will get for your balls, right? Come the transition, the asset valuation. So if you have a level 0 common ball, then you're going to get $25 for it. Now, keep in mind, right? This is kind of important here. Keep in mind that right now on the marketplace, right? You can buy a common Pokeball for $20. $20, right? This is why this discount is incredible, because you can buy a level 0 common ball today for $20. And then when it comes round to valuation, you're not going to get $20 back for it. You're going to get $25 back for it. If it's a level 0, if it has not improved, right? If you've maxed out the common, you're going to get around $37 for it. And there's a simulator, which I'm going to show you the link for, which you can put your Pokeballs in there based on the rarity and the level that they're at. And it will then tell you, it will calculate how much you'll be able to get for the Pokeballs that you own, the assets that you own. You can see here that the level 0 rare Pokeball, you'd get $100 for, right? If you have a maxed out rare Pokeball at the time of the valuation, they're going to give you $150 for it, okay? And if we go back again, right, the rare at the moment is $80. What Pookie are saying is that if you buy a rare Pokeball today for $80, they will give you, if you don't upgrade it at all, they will give you, during the asset valuation, they'll give you $100 for it. So you make $20 on top of it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So depending on what you've got, you're not going to be worse off with this at all. If anything, you're going to be better off. And this is why I am genuinely thinking about either cashing some money out of Sorare or just putting some more money into Pookie so I can take advantage of this here. Because if you tell me that I can buy Pokeballs for 20% off, but then I'm still going to be able to get the full value for them in a few months' time, you're going to give me the full value for them, I should do it. And I think everyone should try and do that. And that's not financial advice at all. That's just common sense. Buy something for cheaper, and I'm going to give you the full value for it. I'm not going to give you the discounted value for it. I'm going to give you the full value for it. And I could potentially give you even more than the full value, depending on the level that you've got it to. And if you get it to max level, then you get, I think, roughly around 1.5, so 1.5x the value, which is just unbelievably good. Exactly. Yeah. So now you should really ascend your balls. There's a big incentive to be ascending your balls now, because if you ascend them, what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to get some really good value at the higher level. And we're going to come back to this because what you'll see here, there's a link, look. So to make it transparent, we've built a simulator to help players make a precise projection allowing them to plan their progression over the next months before the snapshot takes place. So this link here, look, this link takes you to a public copy of the simulator and a spreadsheet, and it shows you the conversion that they're using, right? The value that they're using for Pokeballs, right? Based off the level and also the rarity. And then on the second tab here, you get the same thing. You get a conversion based off the level and the rarity, right? And it tells you what you can get for them, okay? I think this is in dollars, right? And then if you go to the simulator here, you will need to download a copy. So you download it by making a copy of it, right? And then once you've downloaded it, you can then start to edit these fields, right? And then you can put in the level of, say, a mythic, or if you've got one rare, then you put in the level of that rare, and it will tell you, and it will calculate exactly how much you're going to get for all of your collection. It's really cool. Really, really cool. It is a clever way to encourage money into the game, definitely. Because that would have been the dilemma, wouldn't it? That they would be saying, these assets are being phased out, but we still want you to buy them. And so you'd be like, well, I'm not going to buy them if they're going to be phased out, right? Who would buy them if they were going to be phased out? And so they've been really smart in a good way with how they've still been able to make the Pokeballs attractive. And if anything, they're even more attractive now. The fact that they're discounted and they're still going to give you the full money for them, not the discounted value for them, but the full value for them in a few months' time. So talk about an earner, talk about like a money maker. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So what I might do is I might very well try and buy a couple of rares if I can. Because if I buy 2 rares and then at 20% discount, and then I can try and max out those 2 rares, so get them to max levels and then ascend them, I'll be able to make a lot more money from doing that. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. So we're going to come back to this a little bit later, but because I was seeing in the chat a couple of you guys saying, well, how much do I get, like for my rares or my commons? Am I in a good position? I kind of wanted to just skip forward and show you that there is this simulator here. Let me drop the actual link in the chat as well. The link is in the blog anyway, but there's the link for the Google Doc there. And then, of course, if we just bring it back, you've got some basic examples here to show you what you could get in dollars for level 0, which is when you buy a Pokeball and you don't touch it at all. And this is how much you could get for a max level. So again, remember that the rares right now are about $80, okay? The rares right now you can buy for $80. In a few months' time, you will be able to sell that Pokeball. If it's a max level Pokeball, you'll be able to sell that Pokeball that you bought for $80. You'll be able to sell it for $150 back to Pookie if it is max level. If it isn't, you can sell it back to Pookie for $100. So you basically make $20 profit. It's incredible. Hello to Boyd. He says, hate what I'm trying to see from Sorare. Something to make me confident that minting new cards every year isn't going to ruin the game economically down the line. How do you sell your ball back to Pookie? They've mentioned it in the blog that what they do is they take a snapshot of your account. And so they make a valuation of your account, right? And then what they do is they basically then credit you for what you've got, and I think they then just almost remove. They can't remove the Pokeballs, right? Because they're in your wallet. But I think then the utility, so they won't exist in the game. I think that's what happens. I'm sure we're going to read it. I haven't actually read it yet. It's a good question. But it's probably in, where is it? It's probably in, where is it? Where's the blog? Oh, okay, we've got to go back to the blog. Here we go. It's probably here. Yeah, it's probably in this specific blog. But we're going to come to that. We are going to come to it. Back to the articles here. All right. Let's go back. Okay. So, elevate your game with advanced strategies. Introducing a more nuanced strategy and tactical landscape. The latest evolution introduces a multi-layered approach to boosting your game. This system allows you to apply boosters at an account level, league level, and match level. So remember, at the moment, you are not allowed, you're not able to boost your account. Okay, so your profile, there's no kind of like boost that you can apply on my Free Tip Scout account in the game, which is then going to give me an advantage or some different layers to how I approach the game. There are some league level boosts in the game through stickers, and there are also some match level boosts in the game through stickers, but the league passes are going to allow you to do that as well. Collect team boosters. Players will be able to, okay, so this is kind of interesting. This is really interesting. So when I talked to Pookie about this was quite cool that you're able to collect your favorite clubs and nations. I think this is a good addition to the game. So players will be able to collect their favorite clubs and nations, which will boost every time you predict their fixtures. The more you collect, the more the prediction boost of that team will increase. This makes them become a formidable tool in your prediction arsenal for each league you play. How do you acquire them? Well, anytime you land an exact score, this is where they're putting a bit more emphasis now on getting an exact score, getting it exactly correct. You know, at the moment, we deliberately do not try and target exact scores. And that is so wrong in a prediction game where you should be trying to get exact scores. We have done so many times in the past where we just think, forget about trying to get everything correct exactly. We're just going to see if we can blanket predict all of the games with one score. And if we get one or two exactly correct, that's going to be great. But if we don't, it's probably going to be fine because we're going to be able to get loads of points anyway. You get them now, these boosters, these team boosters, right? You get them when you get an exact score. So there's a big incentive now to try and get your predictions absolutely 100% spot on. Players are rewarded with team boosters of each participating team relevant to the league you predicted. So if I predict in the Premier League, and let's use this example here, and this is the score that I predicted, 3-1 Burnley, 3-1 to Sheffield against Burnley, and it ended up being 3-1, then I would get team boosters for Sheffield United and Burnley. Okay? It gives you an example here. If you nail an exact score in the Man City versus Liverpool game, you are rewarded with team boosters for both. That's pretty big. It's pretty significant. And I think with the boosters here, yeah, the boosters, you get to keep them, right? So you get to collect them. So the more that you collect, the bigger the boost that you get from them individually as well. So it's trying to incentivize if you hit an exact score once, great, you get something for it. But then you want to try and hit it again and again and again, because if you do that, the boosters that you've collected are going to get more powerful. They're going to get more potent in the game. I think this is really cool. The amount of team boosters you get per exact score will depend on the rarity of your league pass. So this is where the advantage of having a higher rarity league pass is going to come into it. If you just buy a common league pass, then you're not going to be able to get as many team boosters per the exact score. And it also says here that team boosters can be purchased via the marketplace in packs as well. Hunting for teams just became more valuable than ever. So ideally, I think you want to try and earn them rather than buy them. But if you found that it was just too frustrating to get the exact scores, you weren't really having much success that way, you could also go and buy them via the marketplace there. We're only on 2.2.2. There's 2.3, there's 2.4, there's 3. There's a lot of sections to this, right? You can now start to see, and it's a much bigger update than the one that Sorare done. There's much more to take on board with this. There's a lot more changing. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be, again, one of those updates that might not actually make a load of sense to you initially. But if you can just keep coming back and reading little sections in the blog so that you can just, progressively improve your understanding of this update. And if you are also able to jump in their Discord and talk to others as well, you'll get a better understanding. You can also watch the YouTube video. And there is actually tomorrow, there is an AMA that Pooky are doing around the update. I don't actually know the time. Maybe I need to check that. Oh, hello. What's going on? I think that there is going to be an AMA that's happening in their Discord tomorrow. I think that they're probably going to be announcing the time today. Is it 7 p.m., is it? Lovely. Lovely. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Is it mentioned in the blog, is it? Where's that time? Where can you find out the time? Was it mentioned in the blog at all? It might have been. We might have just not got to it yet. Oh, you got a mail an hour ago. Oh, okay. Very cool. I had a coupon. Can I do a prediction? Yes, you can. Oh, yeah, you have. Danny, I've only just seen that. Thank you, man. So what is the game that you want to predict, Danny? You can predict any one of these USA League games here. Anyone that's not been predicted already. And then once you've chosen, all you need to do is just tell me what score you want us to put in for it. We'll put the score in. And then, of course, you're then going to be added onto the list. And it means that if your score is the actual score that happens in the game, then you're going to win. No, you can't. Yeah, you can't. It's one per person per game week. If you're already on the list and then you redeem another throw your hat in the ring, it doesn't mean that you're going to get a second one. I'll just simply refund the coupons back to you. Chicago, Houston. Interesting. Okay. And what do you want us to put in here? 2-1, yeah? Okay, cool. So we're going to do 2-1 to Houston. So this is the throw your hat in the ring. I made a video on my YouTube about this week, how everybody can play it. So if this is the first time that you're seeing or hearing about it, then listen up. You are earning coupons on my stream. So just right now, you're earning them just from being on the live stream, right? And when you earn enough, 8,500 is what you need to earn. Once you've earned that amount, you can basically then redeem them for this chance to take part in this competition that I run every week. And this competition is where you basically tell me what game you want to give me a score prediction on, and then what the score prediction actually is, right? And right here, we've got Danny that's chosen this game. So he's redeemed the coupon, which is throw your hat in the ring. He's chosen this game, and then he's told me, let's do 2-1 to Houston. So if this game now ends up being 2-1 in real life to Houston, Danny's going to win a limited card. And he gets to choose what limited card he wants to win as well. So it's really cool. Everyone can play it. There's no restrictions on anybody being able to play it. The only restriction is that you can only play it once per week. So you only get one entry per week. But then the next week, when it's a new game week, you can play again, right? Everyone can play. So let's lock it in. 2-1. Let's go back to here as well. Okay, so we're going to add this in. Here we go. At the moment, these are the predictions that we've had so far. Minnesota versus Real Salt Lake, 2-0 from Athwalas, which is probably why he was asking, can he have another prediction? Unfortunately, he can't. But he's got a good prediction there already for 2-0. Then we've got FBL Thinker that gave us the prediction of 3-1 for St. Louis City versus Dallas. We have Noisy Steve that predicted 2-2 for LAFC versus LA Galaxy. Sopsy's given us 3-0 for Vancouver Whitecaps versus Toronto. Tisdale, who won this week, or from the last weekend, has given us 2-1 for Atlanta to beat New York City FC. And now what we've got is Chicago versus Houston. And we're going to go for a 2-1 there. And that is going to go to Danny Volk. Where are you from, Danny? If you don't mind me asking. So if Danny gets this correct with 2-1, he's going to win a limited card. From the Netherlands. Oh, cool. Very cool. So if you guys want to take part in it, you can. All you need to do is just redeem the coupon. And I will ask you for a prediction, and then I'll add you onto the list, and you get a chance to win a limited card every week, which is pretty cool. Let's go back to the blog here. Okay, so we've just talked about the team boosters, which is pretty cool. So at the moment, you can get these team boosters on stickers, but one of the problems at the moment with the stickers is that if you're looking for a specific club, you can't get that on Pooky. You can, but you have to get lucky. So you have to pull a sticker that then gives you the club that you're after, or you have to buy that specific sticker on the secondary marketplace like OpenSea, So if you're searching for a Man United sticker, you either get really lucky where you pull it in a pack on Pooky, or you go and buy it on OpenSea, right? Whereas this is quite cool because with the team booster, if you need a Man United sticker, a Man United team booster, then all you need to do is just predict on the Man United game and then try and get it 100% correct. And if you do that, you're then going to get the Man United team booster, and then you own it forever, right? And so then your booster for Man United is going to increase with the more boosters, team boosters that you actually own, which I think is really cool. So you kind of get like a stacking bonus, basically. Consumables. Right. This is the layer and the depths which the game is going to now. Like, there is so much more now to this game. It's not just stickers and Pokeballs. There's boosters, there's consumables, league passes, which you can customize. There's team level and account boost as well. It's just, the game is completely going from being a very simple but very cool game to a very sophisticated game where strategy and planning and almost custom building your play through on Pooky is going to be, it's going to be different. It's going to be huge. Consumables. Okay. Each league you have unlocked will generate random consumables every week. Okay. Random. So you won't know what you're getting. It'll be random. Requiring strategic use across your predictions. So when I heard about this, I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Because at the moment in Pooky, things can get very samey, where you don't really have much to think about. You just put the same scores in. You have the same stickers on there, which are giving you the same boost, and you don't really have to think about it sometimes, which is kind of cool because it means it's a game that you can play very quickly and very easily. But it also means that if you're looking for just a lot more out of the game, you kind of don't really get that at the moment. The consumables are quite cool because actually, if you don't know what you're getting, but you're getting something different every week, and then you just have to figure out, right, I've got this consumable. What league or what game is that going to be the right one for? You'll then be having to apply a lot more thinking and planning to try and get a better score. Yeah, I also have the same feeling for you, Sipity. When they went through this with me, I kind of said to them, like, this is cool because it sounds like there's a lot more layers of strategy to it now. But also, they've got to be really careful that they don't overcomplicate it. Because if it's too much to take on board, if every game week just feels like, shit, I don't know what's going on, and there's almost too much to think about, and I don't have the time for it, or I just don't know what's going on, then even though the actual new format will be better in principle, in practice, it might be for some that they'll be like, no, it's too much. I can't deal with it. So all this sounds really good, but they need to make sure 100% that when they implement it in the game, that it's nice and user friendly and it doesn't feel like users are being overwhelmed with just a ton of things which just overly complicate the game. We want strategy, but we don't want complication. And I think it's a good point from Sipity because it's difficult to try and find that balance between like extra strategy, extra layers of thinking without it being overthinking and overcomplicated. Yeah. Consumables include outcomes, exact scores, number of goals, both teams to score, and there will be an element of luck each week as to which consumables your league pass will generate each week. So there's an RNG aspect in here, which means that even if you're a whale, you won't be able to just generate the same consumables. You won't be able to say, okay, I've got this really good strategy for both teams to score, and I just want to be getting both teams to score now every week. They won't be able to decide. It'll be random, which I think is cool. And it says here, ready for a plot twist, players are limited to using up to 3 consumables per prediction and can only be used once. So use them wisely into your next weekly booster refill. Cool. So as far as I know, these consumables are not tradable. You can't buy them, you can't sell them, and you can't trade them. They don't have real world value, but they are an in-game item to add more fun and variation to the plays that you make in Pooky, which I think is great. I think it's really good. Thoughts on the consumables, guys? Any good? Is it a gimmick? Are you looking forward to seeing what you could do with them? It's going to add a big variation and variance to the results that people get and how the leaderboards look each week, I think. Yeah, I'm actually quite happy that both teams to score be added. When I talked to Pooky months ago, I said to them, where's both teams to score, right? And Sipity, you will know yourself, having followed me for years now, you will know that this is my favorite market. Like both teams to score, right? I mean, remember the ACCAs that we used to do with both teams to score? A lot of the predictions that I used to do as well, of course, used to have a big both teams to score element. It's just such a good market, given that it's a 50-50 market. And if you can pick the right games, then actually it doesn't end up being a 50-50 market. Your chances are so much higher if you're picking the right game. So I love that this is coming to their game now, because I kind of expected it to be in the game from the start. I was a little bit surprised actually that you could predict on over 2.5, but you couldn't predict on both teams to score, because any of you guys that have done any bets in the past before, or maybe if any of you guys do bet regularly, this is a very popular market. One of the most popular markets, actually, both teams to score. Yeah, I love it. I think if there was a both teams to score, in the current game, then I think I would have won a lot more on Pooky, because I'm very, very good at kind of identifying when there's going to be both teams to score. And you know as well, Sipity, and probably the rest of you guys in the chat, there are certain leagues where both teams to score is very heavy. Like you can almost rely on both teams to score, right? One of those leagues, for example, is the Belgian Pro League. Another one is the Eredivisie. Those leagues don't tend to have many clean sheets in them. So over 2.5 heavy, and also both teams to score heavy. The MLS, of course, has been notorious for that over the years as well. Not only over 2.5, but both teams to score. So I love that we're going to have this as a consumable, which is then, if you can place it on the right game, it's going to give you even more points, right? And it's going to reward those that take the time maybe to do more research or to think about what is the best games for that particular consumable. Okay. Are you guys still with me? Is it all too much? Tell me, guys, if it's all too much, right? This is just the first blog. Well, it's not. It's the second blog, but it's the first blog with all the proper information on it. and we're just working our way through it. There's still a lot more to go through. I get it, right? I get it. It's, you know, there's a lot to go through. But as I mentioned before, I don't want this to be a stream where I'm just talking nonstop and there's nothing going on in the chat. Because I'll just do a video otherwise, you know what I mean? Like, I want to talk to people about this, and I want to hear the things that you like, the things that you don't like. Because that's the whole point of us being here, right? So we can discuss it, and maybe you guys have ideas or concerns on it. So I kind of want to get that sort of feedback coming through in the chat. So consumables, good idea or a bad idea? Sympathy likes it. We'll mix up the strategies each week. I like it. I think it's, yeah, going to be fun to play about with that. Does anybody in here not like it? Maybe that's the question we should ask. Does anybody actually not think this is a good idea? And if you don't, I'd love to know why, because I can only see positives really from this at the moment. Am I just wasting my time here? Where's everyone? I'm not going to be going through the whole blog, just talking it through and not getting anything back, guys. I won't. So, yeah, this is the time to engage a bit and to let me know thoughts, ideas, concerns. I can also I can use your feedback as well, and I can then talk and feed it back to Pooky. So this is another kind of reason why I want to get your thoughts and ideas on it. Maybe you're thinking about this update in different ways that I'm not too. So your opinions do matter here, and I want to hear them. Atholos thinks it's good, as you will have to use more strategy. I agree with you, man. Yeah, I agree. I think I like the fact that it's random as well. So it's not like you can choose every week what consumables you want, because then you'd probably have a situation where people would just be choosing the same, and then you don't have that variance in the leaderboard, right? But the fact that it's random is then going to reward those that I think can figure out what they do with their consumables and how they use them. And it's kind of cool that you only have a limit. So you can only use 3 per prediction. It's quite cool. It's good that even if you have a common league pass, you can only use 3. If you have like a legendary one, you can only use 3. Because otherwise, I think that could get a little bit unbalanced if it was if you had like the higher league pass, and you can, let's say, use like 6 or 10 or whatever. That'd be a little bit too OP, I think. The next section is around the league level, where it's talking about prediction attributes and stickers. Now, prediction attributes we already have, okay? So if you're unfamiliar with these, I'm just going to show you them now. We've already got these in the game. These are the prediction attributes here of home, draw, away, over 2.5, under 2.5, and the exact score. So this is going to be changing in a different way now with the league pass. So when you get your league pass, if you that's a bit of a mistake there. It should say it will be allocated a range of attributes, right? These include boosts attributes, each such as outcome and exact score, as well as improving the efficiency of consumables, such attributes including goal difference, over under, cards issued. So that's something we don't have in the game right now. There are no, like, you can't predict on cards, right? We also can't predict on a half-time, full-time, or goals in the first half and the second half. That kind of, those kind of attributes, those prediction attributes are coming into the game. Every league pass will come with the 2 general prediction attributes of outcome and the exact score. So to make this clear, right, every league pass will have the ability for you to have a prediction of home, draw, away, because that's the outcome. And it will also have an attribute for the exact score. But not every league pass will have over 2.5. Not every league pass will have under 2.5, right? So the outcome is going to be on every league pass, and then the score is going to be on every league pass. And then what they're saying is that the league passes from uncommon onwards will randomly unlock additional attributes. So you can see here, if you buy a common league pass, you get those 2, right? You get the 2 general ones of outcome and exact. If you buy an uncommon one, you still get outcome and exact, but then you get 1 random attribute, which could be cards, for example, or it could be over under. It could be both teams to score, for example, although that's probably going to be more of a consumable, but you could also have that as an attribute as well. It could be the half-time, full-time. And you can see right up until the ultimate. So ultimate would give you the 2. So the 2 general prediction attributes, right? And then 4 random ones on top of it. The same for mythic as well. So in total, it will have 6 attributes assigned to the league pass. So for me, ideally, what my plan is to try and get an epic league pass, because I think having a bit of a boost there where you get 5 attributes would be massive. That's the same as a legendary, actually. And I've been trying to work my way up to epic anyway. You can see here, look. These are the attributes you get. So these are the 2 that are fixed, right? These ones don't change at all. So every pass on every rarity will get outcome and exact score. And then these are the different ones that you can get, right, on your league pass that are random. So you could get, for example, another outcome or another exact score. So then that would give you an even bigger boost, right? You could also get over under, both teams to score or a clean sheet, goal difference, which is pretty cool. So you'd be able to get some kind of a boost if there was, let's say you get a goal difference of +2, and if the score ends up being 2-0 to someone, you're going to get a boost there because you had the +2 goal difference on your league pass there. It's pretty cool. Stoppage goals, wow. Yellow, red cards, double-edged. Right. I'm not clear on this one. I'm not clear on the double-edged at all. I did ask them on the kind of like the call that I had with them. I don't know what it is, and we weren't able to see or find out on the on the call. If anyone knows what this is, then please tell me. It's not the only time that I know a double is like when you're talking about double chance. So double chance in betting terms is where you are predicting on an outcome, but you're predicting on two outcomes, right? So you're predicting, for example, that the home team will either win or draw, or you're predicting that the home team will either win or lose, right? So I don't know whether that's double-edged. So instead of them calling it double chance, it's double-edged. I don't know. But I've not come across that term in betting before. So if anyone does know, like, let me know in the chat. The other attributes that you can get are account XP, league pass XP, sticker XP, and then this one here is actually one together. So a team booster bonus as well. What attributes or what league passes are you guys thinking of getting at the moment? Because I think that for me personally, I don't want to have a league pass that only has a boost on two attributes. I actually want to have one that has 5. I don't think there's a big difference between the epics and the legendaries to the mythic and the ultimates, right? But I do think that there is a big difference between the uncommon to the epic, where you're missing out on additional 2. And of course, the common to the epic as well. That's 3 attributes you're not getting a boost on. So I'd love to know where everyone's thinking about aiming for based off this. For me, when I read it, the epic is going to be where I'm going to be trying to aim for here as like a minimum for the league pass if I can. Yeah, the pricing for the league passes, that is somewhere, isn't it? Probably here. Here we go. Yeah, so the pricing here. So a league pass would be $60, basically $60. For an uncommon, the epic would be $539. So it's a pretty hefty amount. But you get all of those attributes on it. So that's why I'm thinking that during this these next few months, I basically need to get my 2 epic Pokeballs transitioned and ascended to an epic, because then that will pretty much give me the value that I need for 1 epic pass, right? But then I think I need another epic. So I think I need 2 epics basically by the time that this this upgrade happens. Now, to be honest with you, I've already got plenty of rare cards here. Rare Pokeballs, sorry, not rare cards. I've already got plenty, so I can start to upgrade these already. But the fact that you get the 20% discount, which allows you to sell them at 100% value, just means that it's too good an opportunity to miss out on, I think, to make a decent amount of profit. But yeah, maybe depending on how I get on with upgrading everything and maxing everything out, I think the plan for me will be to get 1 league pass, which is an epic, right? Because I'm already trying to get to that level anyway with the Pokeballs, and I want to be competing at epic in Pookie. And then maybe if I don't quite have enough to get another epic, I could start off with then having a second league pass, which will be a rare one, or maybe 2 rare passes, right? Which I could then ascend to an epic anyway. That's what I'm thinking about at the time being. But what I quite like about this is that even though there's a big difference in the pricing, right? I quite like the price points so that if you are a real budget player, you can play the full Premier League with a common. And it just means then that you'll be not relying as much on the attributes, but you'll probably then need to be relying a bit more on your boosters for you to be able to try and compete a bit closer to the higher leagues here, the higher rarities. Stickers. Players will be able to attach stickers to their league pass in the same way as in the current gameplay, though now excluding teams. So stickers are not being removed from the game. Pokeballs are. The difference with the stickers, though, is that you will not be able to get a sticker with a club attached to it. The reason for that is, if you remember, we go back up to the team boosters here, that's how you're going to be able to get the boost on teams, by getting the exact scores. So if you get the exact scores, you're going to get that boost, that club, okay, that way, which is why there's absolutely no reason then, it's actually redundant to have stickers that offer club boost, right? You're already giving that out through, and you're incentivizing it through an exact score. It says here, players will be able to customize the performance of their league passes, such as increasing the power of consumables, increasing prediction attributes, which are these ones here, okay? These ones here that you get. So increasing the power of them as well, improving the XP gains, and even generating extra stickers each week. These are all choices players will have to make along the way. So honestly, the amount of customization that users are going to have now, it's going to be very difficult to find two accounts in Pooky that are going to look exactly the same. So the uniqueness of everyone's journey on Pooky is going to be so much more emphasized now playing it. Like, everybody will have a completely different playthrough in the game based on the uniqueness of how their account looks, how their league pass is customized, the consumables that they have, and they get each week randomly, the stickers that they've got. Really cool. Yeah, it is quite tricky, isn't it, Sippity, to get the last 10 levels, really. I've been working on this ball for a long time, the German ball, and we're creeping along. We nearly got it to level 60. I think this is why it's also really good that they've mentioned in the blog that I think in a few months' time, rather than you winning Matic, there will be I think it was what, a 60% or 66% increase in the amount of POC that you'll be able to win, which will then really help those managers that need the POC to be able to advance all of their Pokeballs to the higher levels, so they can then ascend them and then get the higher value from them in the account snapshot. Hello to Griff Dog. How's it going, man? It has been a long time, yeah. We're just running through the mammoth. It's a mammoth update on Pooky. And it's a fantastic update as well. To get hold of these stickers for your league passes, you can purchase them via the marketplace from packs containing various rarities, trade them with players, and further down the line, you'll be able to craft them, which is something that I'm really looking forward to. So rather than just relying on getting the stickers that you want by being lucky with a pack draw, or having to go on OpenSea to trade with players, you'll be able to craft them. So if you need specifically a correct score, or both teams to score, or an over 2.5 sticker, then you'll be able to say in the game, that's what I want to build. And then it will give you almost like a recipe for what you're going to need to build it. Pretty cool. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot going on. Yeah. How will it change my account that has 2 common Pokeballs and 2 common stickers? You can find that out. There is this one here, this blog. How player assets will transition in the updated gameplay. You want to click on that one. I'll give you the link actually in the chat. Right? There's the link. You want to read this blog because in this blog, it tells you exactly what you need to do. And there's even a simulator here, which is a Excel spreadsheet where it will calculate what you're going to get for what you currently own on Pookie. Well, the ascending is still going to happen though, Griffdog. So you won't be ascending your Pokeballs anymore, but you will be ascending League Passes. So it's the same thing, essentially, apart from it's just a different almost name now. The League Pass is going to be the asset that you own rather than the Pokeball. And then you can still ascend the League Passes as you can in the same ways you can do the Pokeballs right now. Okay, how are we doing, guys? How are we doing? I feel like I'm losing people here by going through it. It's a mammoth update. There's no way to get around it. I mentioned I will do a video as well on this for sure because there's just so much to go through. But if you ascend 2 league passes of different leagues, does that only leave you with 1 league? That's a good question, because this is the first time that I'm reading about the update. I've not had a chance to read it. I'm reading it live now. I don't know actually whether you can ascend 2... I guess you can, right? I guess you should be able to ascend 2 different league passes, right? As long as they're the same rarity. And then it will just be a case of then you'll have to pick what league you want to have. So the same kind of way. I'm sure it's going to be like that. We haven't read that yet, but I think that's what it's going to be. Yeah, it will counteract it, but then it will allow you to have a higher... If that is how it works, it will allow you to have a much more powerful league pass for that specific league. I think you only need 1 max league pass for Ascension. Should we try and find out that then? It's probably quite a good bit. Is it really? You need a max league pass plus an X amount of money. Okay, thank you for that. Because we've not got to that yet, and it's actually quite a good question. So where can we find that in the blog, Nico? Hello to you as well, man. Where is that in the blog? Don't know. A friend of mine told me. Okay. Cool. Well, who? Who's your friend? That's like hearsay. Is it somebody who's working for Pookie? Is it someone who's connected to Pookie? Because it's a good question, by the way, from Griftog. And I don't think actually that it is covered in the blog. I can't see, just from skim reading it, I can't seem to see around the ascension of the league passes there. Okay, read everything's active in the Discord. Good question, by the way. What I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on having Pookie jump in on the streams on Friday. So what we could do actually is we could get that confirmed by Pookie on Friday. Maybe that's also going to be confirmed in the AMA they're doing tomorrow. So that might be a question that somebody asked them, is how will the Ascension actually work for the league passes? Is it a case where you just max out one and you pay a little bit of money to then take it to the next level? Or do you need a couple of league passes to do it? Yeah, good question though, man. Really good question. From Griff Dog. Because at the moment, whilst we've been reading this, we've kind of seen the, where did it say it? We've seen that the league passes can be ascended, but we don't see, or we haven't seen the mechanics of how it actually all works, right? It talks about it here, look. Each league, where we go, ascend from legendary, so you can ascend the league passes, but it doesn't actually explain the how exactly it works. Oh, my mouse has just died. My mouse has just died. Guys, give me a second. I need to plug my mouse in. So let me just put it on a little break here for 1 second, okay? I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, we're back. I didn't go to the shop. I had to resuscitate my mouse. I had to give it mouth to mouth. And it was touch and go. I had to zap it. I had to zap it one of those machines. I don't know what those machines are called, actually. But you know those machines where you zap them to try and put some, try and get the heart going again. I had to do that. I had to do everything. I was not letting this mouse go out. I was not letting it slip away. So, mouth to mouse. Exactly. It's back. It's back. And yeah, you guys can see, look on the screen. There he is. He's back, full of life again. We brought him back right from the point of death. Okay, defibrillator. Right, that's it. Yeah. It's such an easy word to remember. I always forget it. Right, what we're going to do, I think this is what we're going to do. We are going to finish the rest of this blog, right? And then I think what we're going to do is we're then going to come back tomorrow and cover the next blog. I think covering all the blogs on one stream is a little bit too much, right? And I get it, because I think if the roles were reversed, right? And if I was on a stream that was just running through a blog, I would be interested, right? But it's also like being in a lecture sometimes, or, you know, being in like a presentation. And, you know, when you're just being talked to about something, you can zone out. So I've actually been learning a lot more about the update today, and I'm glad that we are running through it. I just don't think, for me personally, I want to run through all 4 blogs on one stream. And I don't think for you guys either, it's that good of a experience on the stream. So let's try and finish this one off, because we've got a couple more sections to go, and then we'll do some different things, and we'll then come back to the stream tomorrow, and we'll maybe tackle this one here, the player's transition, where it talks a lot more about transitioning to the league passes and how it's going to replace the Pokeballs and the valuations, all that kind of cool stuff, right? We can cover that tomorrow. And then we can cover maybe the tokens on Friday. So let's just try and break it down. So it's just a little bit easier to go through. When are you buying Pokeballs? Asks Arthur. I don't know. I'd like to buy maybe a couple more this month. So maybe in a few weeks' time. I don't know whether because at the moment on Sorare, my gallery's in a really good position where it's generating me card rewards now, like regularly, especially in rare. You guys can see that actually, look. So I've kind of got the gallery to where I wanted it, where it's almost self-sustaining. So I kind of don't want to start messing about with it. But at the same time, I have a ton of limited cards that I still don't want. You guys know I've been trying to offload them for a while. A lot of those will go into giveaways, and to be honest with you, the limited cards are probably not worth a ton anyway. So it could be a little bit tricky to raise money by selling the limited. So yeah, maybe this month I'll buy a couple more balls or something. I just think that it is too good opportunity to buy a ball discounted to then sell it basically back to Pookie for more than what you paid for it. I mean, if anybody says to you, I'm going to sell this to you for £5, and then in a few months' time, I'm going to then buy it back off you for like £10 or something, you're going to be like, okay, sure. Like, no questions asked. Like, great, let's do it. So I kind of feel like I want to get involved in that. I don't need more Pokeballs, but it's just a good opportunity to buy them for cheap and then to sell them and make a little bit of profit, and then just put me in a better position for the new format, right? Because all that's going to happen is the higher my valuation is of my account, just means then that it gives me a better start in the new format, I think, and allows me potentially to buy 2 of the epic passes, which I really want to have. Because even though it would be great to predict like 3 or 4 or 5 different leagues each week, I'm not really too interested in doing that initially. I wouldn't mind building up to that, but I'm already doing just 2 leagues a week, and that's okay for me, right? So if I start the new format where I can only do 2 leagues per week, but I've only got 2 league passes, I'm cool with that. As long as they're both epic passes, that'd be great. Or at least one of them's an epic pass, and then I can work my way towards getting, say, a 3rd league pass. So I could then have, for example, a USA, a Premier League, and like a Argentinian one, for example, because I still like to predict that league with the reliability of under 2.5 and all the draws, right? So that's how I'm kind of thinking about this new update. For me personally, is that I love the sound of it at the moment, and I like the extra layers of strategy that it's going to add. I just don't think that I need a lot of league passes to begin with. I prefer to have fewer league passes but higher rarity league passes, so I can get the bigger boost on the attributes, right? And then just try and pick up any more that I need if I fancy predicting in another league. How long are they discounted for until the new format? Well, what's interesting is that in the blog, so I think it was here, in the blog actually, when it talked about this roadmap, it kind of hinted that the marketplace discounts would be happening in May, June, but we can see in the game that they're already happening now. So my understanding of it would be that this discount is now in the game until the account valuation, probably, right? Not until the actual new format, but probably until they do that account snapshot. Because then if you continue to buy these after the account snapshot when they were discounted, then I guess you could, but then it wouldn't be factored into what you're going to get back from Pooky. So I'm guessing now that this is just until the account snapshot. What's everyone's plan at the moment? I mean, we're going to keep reading the blog that we were nearly at the end of, right? This one here, we got up to this section, which I think is pretty cool. But even though I haven't fully read all of the update blogs from Pooky, I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying what I'm hearing and seeing. And that's how I'm starting to think about how I will do Pooky in August, or whenever the transition is again. It is August, isn't it? Where I'll aim to have 2 epic passes good to go for the start, because I'm actually okay only doing 2 leagues, which is what I'm doing already. And then try then to, when I've got the 2 epics, I'll then try to maybe add a 3rd pass, maybe a rare pass, for example, which then allows me to start predicting in a 3rd league if I want. And I'll try to finance that maybe just from the earnings of the token that we'll be able to start winning in the game. That's my initial plans anyway. That's how I'm kind of looking at it. Hello to FBL Thinker. How's it going? How much of the update did I miss? Quite a bit, but we're still on we're on the 2nd blog. The 1st blog is more like just an overview, and this 2nd blog is really just like a detailed deep dive into it. So yeah, we've talked about a lot. Let's keep going, right? Let's keep going. 2.4 account level. So at the moment in Pooky, there's no way for your account to give you an advantage or a benefit in the game, right? There is going to be this new account level XP system in the game, and we're going to read it. I did actually express a little bit of a concern to Pooky when they initially mentioned this to me, and I'll explain why in a minute. So, shape your unique strategy. A new strategic playground comes at the account level. Here you can unlock and level up overarching skills based on prediction performance. These skills are account-wide and amplify your performance across the leagues that you have unlocked. So you can have multiple league passes connected to an account, and those league passes are going to be giving you different levels of boost and advantages, right? And then you can have your actual account that then is like leveled up. So, similar on Sorare, although Sorare do it and it doesn't really, it's stupid the way Sorare are doing it. So Sorare have this level system, right? You can see I'm level 41. Well, what does that really give me in the game? Absolutely nothing. I have no advantage here. It doesn't give me any boost. So I'm not getting like, say, 0.5% or 1% additional to certain cards in my collection or anything like that. This is just pure cosmetic, but there's no actual benefit to users for having high levels in the game. So it's a little bit of an untapped feature where it's not quite being fully utilized, right? Maybe in the future, they will probably add some kind of benefit or advantage to achieving all of these challenges, right? And trying to get to as high a level as you can. But at the moment, there isn't. What Pooky are going to do is they're going to give you an advantage for the level that your account is. And there's this skill tree that they're talking about where players in the game will earn XP based off how well you do in a game week. And then you can then invest it into a skill tree, which is completely new. And this skill tree will allow you to customize your gameplay by picking and improving these skills across a variety of categories based around predictions. So it all sounds pretty good there. They don't really go into much more specifics on it. I think this is actually a very cool thing. They say that these skill choices will mean that players tailor their strategies and gameplay experience within the game, but they don't really go into the specifics, right? I think part of the reason why they haven't gone into the specifics on this is because they are still trying to, they're still working on it. They're still figuring out exactly what the skill tree will be and look like. I was able to get a little bit of a sneak peek as to some of the things that they are considering for it. But it's not final yet, and it's still very much a work in progress. So I think that is the reason why we don't have more on it for the time being. I think they might also expand on it in the AMA tomorrow. Now, one of the slight reservations that I've got with this skill tree or this account level is that it's probably going to widen the gap quite significantly between new players that join the game and players that have been playing for a while. Because at the moment in Pooky, there's no kind of divisions that are based off either your account level or your gallery, like your collection level. And there's no kind of division based off, like if you've got 1,000 XP, then you play. You can play in here. You need to have X amount of XP to be able to play in this level, right? So in theory, what you could have is you could have somebody that starts the game today, or when this is implemented, right? They could start the game with basically no XP, and then they could start to build up their XP. But then in 6 months' time, the person that then is new in 6 months' time will have no XP, and they'll be going up against other players in the game that will have significantly more account XP, and their level will be giving them more advantages, bigger benefits. So I kind of said that to Pooky, that I think in principle this is pretty cool and pretty exciting, but I think also there's a potential where this could create a bit of a a bit of a gap, too big of a gap between new players and experienced players in the game. So I would be interested to know whether this works well or not, because I like the idea of it. I'm thinking about new players here. If I'm like a new player that joins this new format, let's say like 6 months after it's released, right? I'm playing against others that have already been playing before me, but I don't really have a choice to not play them, right? Because I'm still competing in the same leagues as them, and they're going to be getting just a significant advantage because of the account XP that they've got. So I think that needs to be kept an eye on. I mean, I don't know. Am I looking at that the wrong way? I think the account level XP is great. It rewards you for playing the game long term, and it incentivizes you to keep moving up and to keep progressing in the game. So you should get something for it, right? Similar to when you're playing like an RPG game, you want to be getting bigger, better, stronger as you go through that journey with your character. And it's the same here. You're personally going through that journey. And so by going through that journey and earning the XP, it unlocks more abilities on the skill tree. But with newbies not having a chance or a choice to choose who they go up against, they're then going to be at a disadvantage, I think, based on that alone. And it could just be it could be potentially quite demotivating or off-putting when account XP and account advantages mean that those that have been playing for longer are going to have a significant advantage compared to those that just start. I mean, what does everyone think on it? Am I thinking too deep on it, maybe? Like, is the account level, is the skill tree a good idea that is going to be implemented well? Is it a good idea, but maybe needs to be thought about how it is implemented in the game? Is it a bad idea? What's people's thoughts on it? Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, there's an opportunity for them for sure to be tweaking this kind of thing. I think my kind of feedback to them at the time was that I just worry that this is going to create too much of a gap between new players and existing players. And the gap is fine if it means that new players can play closer against people around their same level. But if you've got new players coming in that are then having to compete in the same leagues, right, amongst everyone else who's maybe got just significantly more XP, then that, for me personally, will hinder the game. And then maybe that might be a case, then an argument to say, does there need to be some kind of division structure where you compete in a league, but you compete within a division based on your XP? So you're then going more up against people around your level rather than someone that's got no experience at all and then has to go up against someone that's been playing for years potentially. Because that's the way I see this here, is that somebody could potentially max out their skill tree and then they're competing in a league where there are newbies in there. There's like noobs in there. And that, for me, if I was a noob, I'd be thinking, this isn't that fair. I don't want to compete against someone that's fully maxed out on a skill tree that has this insane account level XP that they're going to be getting a huge advantage on, which is good for them. It just means I shouldn't really be competing against them, no? I should be competing against some other newbies, some other people around my same level. So maybe in the future, what they could do is they could limit the players that you go up against based on account level, for example. I don't know. But I just think that the way it is at the moment in Pooky, you already know that you're going to be competing against Wales, right? So right now in Pooky, when I go into the German league, I'm competing against everyone, right? Everyone and anyone. So budget managers, Wales, we're all in here together, which means that in the boosted leaderboard, for example, unless I am really accurate with my predictions, more accurate than a whale, it's going to be quite tricky for me to win the leaderboard with just, for example, a rare Pokeball, when the whales will have legendaries and mythics, which means they don't have to get all of their scores exactly correct. They could probably still hit top on the leaderboard just from getting over 2.5s, and if all the games are over 2.5s, right? And then what we're saying now is that in the new format, not only are you competing against everyone still, so the rarity difference is there, the different consumable that you get is there, the different attributes that you get in the league passes are there, right? But then what you're also saying is the account XP, an account level, is going to give those with high levels an extra advantage in the game. And we'll be competing against that too. So that was my concern and feedback to Pooky, is that I like it, but I think that it needs to be managed in a way that is fair and that doesn't put off newbies from like staying in the game. And it also doesn't put off just managers that are already playing the game that are almost being matched up against just opponents that are significantly way more powered than them based on an XP level on the account. All right. In addition, there's going to be a weekly, monthly, and rarity leaderboard. The biggest rewards remain for the top 50%, but 100% of players will continue to land other rewards proportional to their ranking and performance. That's really cool. Okay. With the updated gameplay, we will introduce the new token. This is being developed to replace POC and Matic, so TPK will be the main currency in the game. The overview of the rewards will be TPK, which you get from winning it on weekly, monthly, and rarity, and then XP, which you get from the league and stickers XP earned through prediction points from match days, then account XP that we were just talking about, gained from correct outcomes, contributing to the player's progression of a player's avatar at that account-wide level. And then team boosters, you get these from getting the exact scores on teams that you predict on. It's pretty cool. This is also quite cool. We definitely need to talk about this here. There's going to be a much more social element in the new format. And there's going to be Hall of Fame leaderboards on here, which I think is so cool, because I feel like Hall of Fame leaderboards don't really have they've almost been a little bit lost in a lot of games today. The Hall of Fame leaderboards, from what I understand, will be leaderboards that will almost mimic the weekly, monthly, and the rarity competitions, the leaderboards there, but also potentially a permanent Hall of Fame leaderboard where you can be almost immortalized in the game forever. I think that's so cool. And there's also going to be groups as well, which is allowing you to do public and private leagues. So the mini league kind of format, you're going to be able to do on Pooky in the new format. Okay. Let me stop talking now. We haven't covered the whole thing, but we have covered in depth the one article that pretty much sums up the big changes. The next article we're going to do tomorrow is going to talk about the valuation and the transition period. And then the article we'll talk about on Friday will be the token. But guys, thoughts on Pooky? Because this is a mammoth update. Thoughts on it? Good, bad? What do you like? What don't you like? What are you most looking forward to at the moment? Does it make you want to spend more, spend less on Pooky? This is your chance to give me your thoughts here and share your opinions on this huge update. Interesting. Yeah, interesting feedback, actually. I think Mark Gork mentioned the same. Nico's saying, as a day one player, I hate the update. I lose all my progress and my head start I had over the average player base. Yeah, because the energy that you've got, you don't get compensated for the energy, do you? That you've built up. I mean, you get compensated for the Pokeball, but yeah, also the head start, as you say, you've got, it's almost like leveling the playing field a little bit more, or like basically closing the gap. I think it's very good for Pooky overall, because I think this makes this game a lot more accessible for everyone, or for more people, right? The mass market. You think it sounds cool, but I won't earn that much. Why won't you earn that much? Because you won't, because you think you won't be able to dominate the leaderboard as much? Probably not. And that's one of the big reasons they're making the change here. When I spoke to them, they said that they want to create more competition. Because at the moment, you can basically look at the leaderboard on Pooky every week, and the top kind of 10 are usually the same, right? So the top 10 usually are the same predictors, right? And with this kind of new format, it adds a lot more variance. So it means that those top guys won't be able to dominate as much in the leaderboard. And I think that's a really good thing. Because even for me, I think that I'm I think I'm a pretty capable Pooky player. But every now and then there's like a thought in my head where I think, you know what, I get a little bit demoralized. I'm like, can I really get a podium when in the current format, kind of the podiums tend to get quite dominated by the same people? Whereas in this new format, I kind of think, well, now I do have more of a chance to pip those whales to the top, because the odds have been evened a little bit more, or tipped in my favor a little bit more. What does everyone else think about this update here? Thank you, by the way, for sharing, Nico. I hear what you're saying as well. I do. The advantage I had in League One with the PSG ball is kind of gone. What will you do, Arthur? Will you just with the account valuation, when you can trade in or cash in your PSG ball, will you get another League One? Like, what's the leagues that everyone's also thinking of targeting? Because I've been looking for a Premier League ball since I've been playing Pookie, right? I don't have a Premier League ball. And very, very infamously, on one of the streams that I'd done a long time ago now, back in the summer, I remember, some of you guys might remember it. I was so almost desperate to try and find a Premier League Pookie ball. I ended up spending about $300, $400 on the stream, on one single stream, to try and search for it. We didn't get it. We didn't get it. Whereas obviously this new format means that I don't have to do that at all. I can actually just say, I want that Premier League pass. And then it's just a case of deciding what price point you'll want to spend or come in at. So I can then buy a Premier League one for $20, or I could buy a Premier League one for a higher rarity one for higher. So that alone, I'm a big fan of. So my Prem ball goes, and then I have to buy a Prem League pass. Yeah. You don't have to buy a Prem League pass, but if you want to still compete in the Premier League, then with the money, the credit that you're going to get from your Premier League ball, you could then go and use that to buy a Premier League pass if you wanted to. Yeah. You don't have to buy the Premier League pass, though. I mean, if you consider that when this update is happening when it's fully happening, which is August, right? That is exactly when it's the start of the Premier League. So you could probably imagine that there's going to be a load of people that are buying a Premier League pass, right, for the start of the Premier League season. And of course, it's one of the most popular leagues too. The one thing that would be worth considering here, and this actually I haven't seen, right? This is a thought that's come into my head now. At the moment, every Pokeball has a prestige, right? And this prestige has like value, has importance in the game. So when you're predicting the prestige, the total amount of prestige in a league determines how much of the prize pool they get. So if the prestige that you get is calculated from Pokeballs and energy, which it is, right? But the energy's going and the Pokeballs are going, then that technically means that the prestige is going, right? So if the prestige is going, how is the prize pool going to be divvied up amongst the different leagues there? Because that is the one thing which is determining how much of a share they get. Because the reason I'm thinking of that is that in August, right, as I mentioned, probably lots of people are going to be thinking, right, Premier League starts, I'm going to trade in or cash in my Pokeballs. I get the credit. That allows me to then go and buy a League Pass. I'm going to go and buy a Premier League Pass, right? But if everybody is buying a Premier League Pass, then that league is going to be super competitive. So maybe that won't actually be the league that will be the best one to go into if they remove the prestige. What's happening with the prestige here? Does anyone know? Yeah, I mean, the league passes could have prestige, right? If the league passes have prestige, and that's basically how they then solve that, where the prestige just transfers from Pokeball to League Pass, right? Essentially. I don't think we've seen it mentioned. Maybe it's because that is how it's going to be. But that's quite an important consideration, because if there's going to be like 20,000 people predicting in the Premier League, but there's only going to be like 10 people predicting in the German league, right? Then I think I will probably want to go in the German league where there's less competition. But then it's probably going to be a lower price pool, you'd expect, right? I wonder. Technically, the prize pool would be higher based on the prestige, but we haven't seen anything mentioned about prestige at all. That's why I'm asking the question. Does it stay or does it remain? Because the prestige is the prestige value is calculated based off the rarity of your Pokeball, the level of your Pokeball, and the energy that you have as well, right? So with the League Passes, though, the League Passes will have levels which you can max out. So maybe it will just be prestige stays. That's probably going to be a question that I ask them if it's not covered in the AMA. I'd imagine the League Passes will have a way of splitting the prize pool. Energy was a benefit of higher prestige, but didn't impact your prizes. Only how many attempts you can make to win. True, yeah. It's a little bit curious that it's not been mentioned. Or because the League Passes are able to be leveled up, right? Yeah. It actually doesn't say that you can level them up, right? But oh yeah, unlocking new levels. Okay, I guess you can. You must be able to, because then that's how you max them out to get them to ascend. Yeah, prestige. I'd love to know that how this is going to impact the prize pools, because one of the big strategies about playing Pookie at the moment is being able to look at how much each league has a prestige, okay? So, for example, the English league has 31,400. The Japanese league has 13,300, or had, because it's finished now, right? The German league has 18,000. This new Japanese league only has 755. And so if you want to win the bigger prizes or the bigger cash amounts, then you need to be going into leagues that have the higher prestige. But when you do that, you know that you're going to be up against bigger, fiercer competition. So stronger competition, bigger prize pool, which is the way it should be. So I'm hoping that they keep some of that in place, where maybe there is that prestige value that's still kind of attached to the league passes based on how customized they are. And then that factors into calculating the share that a league takes from the prize pool. I really like the system that they have, where the prestige dictates how much of a share it gets. So I think if they can keep that, that'd be great. I have to head off now. Thanks for answering the questions I had. Promise to be in the streams more often. Thank you so much for jumping in, Griff Dog. A pleasure to have you, man. So yeah, thank you for taking the time to jump in. You asked some really good questions as well, man. That's what I love from these streams, is that you guys can think about things that I sometimes don't and others don't. So thank you for the contribution, man. And I'll see you on the next one. Hello all. Hello to Packers15. Saw your post on Twitter, FTS. What, the post about me getting what, the reward box with the really quite cool under 23 player in there, Taha Sahin. What other things are maybe worth talking about, or other ideas that people have about this here? The energy's going. The league passes give you unlimited play. There's going to be, I like this here. I think this is a good idea. The team boosters here. So to try and incentivize you to collect your clubs to get them by getting exact scores. And then when you have them, they're tradable. I think that's quite cool. There's a lot of depth to it. Thoughts, guys, ideas? I'm not going to talk too much anymore. I'd like to just talk to you guys, actually, rather than talking to you about the update. I'd like to talk with you about this update, and we haven't read all the articles, so maybe you've read something in one of the other articles that would be worth us talking about now. You know, we're going to cover them over the coming days, but there's something that you've seen. Maybe we can talk about it today and run through it. Nothing happens to the 10K prize, right? I haven't heard anything on it, no. As far as I know, they're not removing it. Yeah, this is like a mammoth update for Pooky. It's a bigger update than what we're seeing on Sorare. There's a lot to it. It's a complete overhaul, Packers, to how you play Pooky. We haven't talked about the token yet. That is, as I mentioned, something that we will do on Friday. I'll have a read, of course, and I would recommend you guys all have a read of this blog before Friday. But then on Friday, we'll cover it and we'll talk a little bit more in detail about it. And tomorrow, we're going to talk in detail about this one, which is really just covering the transition phase of moving from the current to the new. It does actually say here, look, discount on all current primary during the transition period, April to August. Yeah. I'm going to spend the next few months leveling up my 2 common balls, then try to ascend to a rare before the update. Then I already have my rare that is at level 60. That's a good plan, man. Yeah. It's kind of similar to what I want to do, where I want to do the same, but I want to do it for my 2 rare balls that I've got to take them up to an epic. Like, because I'm already about to do that with the two rares I've got here. But then I've got another, it's another 2, isn't it? Yeah, I've got another, this is also a rare. That's a common, actually. Okay. So no, then I would need to do it for these 2. And then I probably need to get the commons up to rares, really. There's a lot. There's a lot of upgrading. So it's going to be quite interesting doing predictions going forward, because I don't think I'm going to be as focused on just playing my strongest Pokeballs to win the rewards. I think I'm actually going to be more focused now on just trying to max out my Pokeballs before the new update. So I'll end up starting to use these now, just so I can max them out. Should be pretty easy to do for the commons, because they only have a max level of 20. 20? No, it's 40, isn't it? 40. Yeah, they have a max level of 40. The rares have a max level of 60. So getting to 40 is really not that hard. It's quite quick to do, actually. I didn't see your thoughts at all, Twitch Gaming. What were they? I've been so busy just trying to read through the vlog. I've probably missed a few kind of comments in the chat. So now that I can talk to you guys a bit more regularly on it, like, let me know. Give me a summary of your thoughts. Good, bad, the ugly. As a free-to-play player, should I buy a common ball before the update? 1000% yes, you should. 1000% yeah. You really should. Do you know why you should? Like, do you know why you should? Because this is actually a good question from, God, how do I say your name there? IMX LCE. I don't know how I'd go about pronouncing that. But he's asked, as a free-to-play player, should he be buying a Pokeball, right? There's no surprise that the legendary ball has been bought. And it's no surprise at all for me that there's only 60 available. They released 100 yesterday. This is actually quite a lot of Pokeballs that have been bought in 24 hours, 40, because usually it takes a little bit longer for in a week for this to get down to this level. Why should you buy Pokeballs if you're a free-to-play player? The reason why you should is because if you buy a Pokeball before the update kicks in, you're going to buy a Pokeball for 20% off, 20% cheaper. Then, right before the update kicks in, you can effectively sell that Pokeball back to Pookie, not for the price you paid for it here, but for $25. So if you bought a common one today for $20, right? If you didn't use it at all, and then the update then comes round and they value your account and they see that you've got one common Pokeball in there that's a level 0, they're not going to offer you $20 for it. They're going to offer you $25. So, yeah. And of course, that then scales up even further the higher up the rarity you go, which is why someone's bought a legendary. Because that person's thinking, if I buy a legendary for 20% cheaper, and I then sell it to you back for a 1-1 ratio, right? And that 1-1 ratio is not this price here. The 1 ratio is what, 1,600 or something? 1,400? Let's go and find it. Then it's easy profit. Look, here we go. 1,600. So that's why the legendary is being bought straight away and it's sold out. Because someone's thinking, I buy this for $1,200, right? Even if I don't do anything with it, I don't use it, in 4 months' time, Pookie's going to give me not $1,277 for it. Pookie's going to give me $1,600 for it. $400, or no, $300 for nothing profit. This is what I said. I understand that whales don't like it as much as others, but right now the game basically is pay to win. Who spends more money wins more money, but with the update, it should be more competitive and good predictions should get rewarded more. If you put in more research and skill, you should win more, in my opinion. It's a good update, and people should not purely see Web3 games as money-making machines, although I understand if they want an ROI, if they're invested money. Yeah, I think one of the difficulties, good thoughts there, good opinions from Twitch Gaming. I think one of the difficulties with Web3 games is that Web3 games that have financial value attached to them, it's really difficult for them to shake the ROI tag off the game. Because if you can make money in something, then it's difficult. It's a difficult mindset for people to think, okay, I don't care about the money. I just like the game. Because there's often you've either put money into it or you see others making money out of it. And so you think, well, where's my money out of it, right? So I think this is always the real tricky thing for Web3 games, is that it's a difficult tag for them to shake off. But it also shouldn't be one that they should necessarily shake off, because it's actually quite cool to leverage the power of the blockchain so that people can earn money from playing, right? I agree with you, though. I think that this update is very needed and actually very welcome, so that it just makes it a lot more varied and fairer in the game. There's too many of the same players that are dominating all the time, that have basically paid to win, as you say. They've bought the high-level Pokeballs, and they can just clean up every week the high-level rewards without much skill, much effort at all. And even for us, when we don't even have like we don't have a legendary Pokeball, we don't have an epic, right? We've only got a rare, but we've shown as well, haven't we, on the streams countless times that we have literally been taking the piss out of the game by just putting in ridiculous scores that we know were not going to be very accurate. And because we've just got good boosts on our rare ball and we're almost playing the game at its own game, we're just then winning a ton of money. And it's great, but it's not really how the game should be as well. And I've kind of said to you guys on the stream, and I also said to Pookie, that one of the problems with the current system is that when you realize that you don't actually have to put a lot of time and effort or even knowledge or, good skill to win money in the game, it's then really difficult to go back to start putting in the skill and the knowledge. So what we used to do before was we used to spend a lot of time poring over the stats and trying to make as accurate predictions as possible. And when we would do that, sometimes we'd win really well. Sometimes we just wouldn't win anything. And that's what happens, right? In betting in general, is that you can put 5 days worth of research into games and come away with nothing. And you can put 5 minutes into something and come away with a lot. But I think the tricky thing with Pookie is that when you realize that in the current system, you don't need to put really any time, effort, knowledge, skill into it, you can win a lot of money. It's really difficult to go back to trying to be as accurate and skillful as possible. So I really like the fact that they're adding more variance into the game. They're making it so that the skill is more rewarded. Definitely. Any other thoughts on this at all? Anything that we've not covered? Any questions for the time being on it? Around stickers or POC or the leagues, the league passes? Yeah, agree with you, Adam. Yeah, big time. I love the consumables idea. Yeah, because it's going to add a lot of variance into the gameplay, which means that even if you're a super big whale, you might not be able to win because you might randomly just get some consumables that just don't really work that well with the league or the fixtures that you have. Whereas somebody that isn't a whale could get some pretty cool consumables or just even some bad consumables, but then they figure out through knowledge and skill and research that these are the right ways to get the best out of the consumables, and then that can also help boost them up the leaderboard. Definitely agree with you on that, man. I get your point, but it should be pay to win, in my opinion. No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be. The game should not be pay to win. The game should have an element of pay to win, but the game should not be a pay to win game where you can't win anything realistically without spending a ton of money. It shouldn't be like that at all. And I think that the update shows that they don't want it to be like that. Because if anything, the pay to win guys are probably suffering the most from this here. And with all the changes they're making to try and almost level the playing field, I think actually more of the average users are going to benefit. It's going to be more accessible for a lower level, as in like lower spending players, and even players that are looking to take the transition from free to play. Yeah, I do agree with you on that. I think if you pay a lot of money into the game, then you probably should get the advantage. Yeah, sure, because you're spending a lot in the game, and you kind of want that to translate into a benefit, right? But I think the way the game is at the moment is that it's probably a little bit too tipped towards the pay to win, if we're being honest about it. And it's quite nice that they're pulling it back and they're opening up the game to make the game actually just a lot more varied and exciting. It's going to be so cool to hopefully in the new format see that we could have completely different winners every week in Pookie, rather than seeing the same names in the top 3, top 10. Okay, cool. So as I mentioned, guys, it's a lot to take on board, and Pooky do have a nice, very kind of small snapshot of the key changes which are happening. They have that pinned to their profile on Twitter, or X if you want to call it that. They've also got that video. So there's a link at the bottom of the tweet. If you just want to watch the video, if you prefer to watch and listen to something rather than read something, then you'll be able to consume and understand the update in that video. I'm going to be doing a video myself and on YouTube, so look out for that this week at some point. And then what we're going to do tomorrow is, because there's just so much to cover, and I don't want to bore you guys to death, right? We are going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to spend more time digging deeper into the other sections of the update. So we've kind of covered this one, we've covered this one, but we haven't covered these two here, and they're just as important, really. So tomorrow we'll talk a bit more about the transition, and then on Friday we're going to cover the token, which actually sounds quite exciting. I'm looking forward to that. So I think that's it for today. We could go on, honestly, we could go on and we could cover more things, but it's been quite a heavy stream. And I think, I don't know about you, but I could probably do with just sort of calling that a day, and just giving your minds a bit of a rest, right? So we're going to be back again tomorrow at 12 p.m. UK time, where it'll be like a part 2 of the Pooky update, which I can't wait to get involved in and talk with you guys about. We'll also try to, on tomorrow, we'll try to do some lineup building, because we do need to do that for the weekend. We left last weekend's lineup build until literally the last minute, and I didn't enjoy it. So we need to try and get some lineups done live on the stream tomorrow on Sorare, just so that we're not as stressed on the deadline day on Friday. And I think also on Friday, I'm probably going to see if we can get Sorare into the stream, so that you can ask them directly stuff that you want to know about the update that maybe isn't covered in the blogs, or is maybe you've got some concerns, or you've got some questions that haven't been asked or thought of yet. You're better to ask them on Friday. So yeah, I'm going to get them in on Friday. So until tomorrow, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for today. I know it was one of those streams where it can be a little bit heavy, but there's really no way around it on a stream. But hopefully, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm definitely understanding the update a lot more, and I'm enjoying hearing about it a lot more. Hopefully it's a little bit clearer for you guys as well. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 12. Good luck with the rest of your teams, and thank you again so much for all your time today, and all the subs and the follows and everything. So thank you guys. Go enjoy your afternoons and your evenings now, and I will catch you again, same time, same place at 12 p.m. So catch you then.